The fact you sit there and say that Monastery is better than Device, are you fucking
No,
crazy?
no.
Device, like I don't know, but I don't know if you don't think
Device, I don't care what it costs.
you
if
don't
they
think
take
Device is a risk.
Device made top 8 with LNZ at a major. Are you kidding me? This
But he
guy
hasn't
is-
played in a
This
year.
guy is a magician.
But
He
he-
Stray
also
bullets
won
on
IEM
LNZ.
fall with who else was on the lineup? Fucking a bunch of noobs. Like
The problem
if
I
they
have-
join, if he joins G2, it's raps, dude. Device, Nico, Hunter, HooXi as well. You see that guy? Oh my god! Woo!
Add some fun to your space with Xtrfy, designed in Sweden with focus on quality products built on experience. You're looking at Project 4, their 4th generation of products with super cool colorways to stand out, with matching sets to satisfy with a solid B4 bungee, lightweight ergonomic M4 mouse, the K4 keyboard is fantastic, all of which are performance focused, and finish it off with colorful GP4 mouse mats that are bold in design and smooth on the surface. The retro theme in particular has got the feels. Complete your setup with Xtrfy. No regrets, guaranteed.
Hey buddy, let me show you how to fix that. BitSkins.com. Buy and sell skins instantly. Deposit and withdraw funds instantly with crypto or directly to your Visa card. BitSkins.com, the best skin marketplace.
N1Bet is here to make your world brighter. Bet anytime, anywhere. Just go to n1bet.com and get your free bet with promo code HLTV. When everything is clear and transparent, play is pleasure. n1bet.com. Your bet, your game.
Welcome to HLTV Confirmed, where the seasons are made up and the episode numbers don't matter. We're here again for another week of Counter-Strike action, proudly sponsored and brought to you by Xtrfy. You know where to check them out. They have all the peripheral goodness, BitSkins, in case you want to get on some skin action. And of course, N1Bet, gamble responsibly. We're back again for another week with all the good stuff. And our man on the ground at Blast is home in his room. You can see it. Striker, did you get home without any travel woes, my friend?
Yeah, this time I did. From Cologne, it wasn't so good, but this time I had no problems.
Okay, nice. All right, well, that's good to hear. Now, Prof, your room's not as sterile this time. The backdrop's ready to go. How are you feeling? A little bit more ready to go?
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a smooth one. I want to say you have a great shirt. You're looking very Australian today for some reason. That's the vibe I'm getting. So I'm enjoying that view that I'm getting right now.
Well, thank you. I'll always take a compliment. And a man who loves compliments, handing them out to his teammates as they qualify for the RMR. It's smooya. Welcome to the show as I would say our most returning guest, Smooya. How the hell you going, mate?
Good. I was a little bit busy just before this.
I heard you were in the bathroom.
I was too busy wiping something, and I had to make a quick pit stop, and now I'm back for some podcasting. But
You should seem more excited right now, Smooya. You seem a little bit out of energy.
I've streamed so much the last 2 weeks. My brain is fried. So today's like a rejuicer day, as my friend Onipixel calls
A
it.
rejuicer. Is he an XQC fan by any chance?
He is. I don't watch XQC.
That makes sense. Yeah, and now he's a friend of mine.
Perfect. But yeah, I'm just literally deathmatch and face.
We're cutting out every now and again.
Push the
hello. No, I don't. It'll be better now. Sorry.
Okay, so you've been playing deathmatch.
Deathmatch, face it, just chilling. No content today apart from this. So
yeah, it's a different type of content creation, right? So, and I guess we have to introduce everybody's favorite producer, Lucas. Say hello to everybody.
How do you know I'm everybody's favorite?
But my favorite.
We make that assumption, right? And there's nobody here who's a producer to dispute it. The only person who could throw a real spanner in the works would be you with your question. So do you want to try this one again?
No.
Okay,
I'm
roll
a
the bumper.
one-take
Let's get
wonder.
into it. All right. Well, we have a lot to get into this week, and it's been a while since we've had a guest to, I guess, dig into. But Smooya, as mentioned, you've had the whole RMR success, and we've featured that as our N1 moment for the week. Now, I want to give a bit of a volume warning for all of our viewers at home before we play this one. This was the celebration after winning the best of one game against Tag, I believe it was, on Inferno.
Why are we playing this?
Because it's a nice moment, Smooya. I was watching this. You had 15,000 people playing, mate. Let's play it.
Let's not lie to people.
Your reaction was very WWE. I thought. What was going through your head?
Yeah, I was just picturing it's the RMR, just doing some stuff to the RMR.
Fucking the
I
RMR.
was fucking the shit out of it. Yeah, I was pumped. I was pumped. I was excited for the best of 3, which we lost sadly, but yeah, we managed to get the one against Illuminati.
Yeah, well, do you want to give everybody a bit of a rundown here? Because maybe people haven't been following this. As I mentioned, I was watching it. It was exciting. What you didn't stream the best of 3s, understandably so, because quite serious business there. You don't want any fucking about. I get that. But it was hype.
Didn't you?
I streamed the one versus Heat, but not the
final
important one.
Yeah,
Say, like versus Illuminati.
The qualifying one.
Thank fuck I didn't as well. Holy shit.
But do you think you did that intentionally?
Yeah, I knew like. But this was my mindset, okay? I was like, okay, when I stream, I have disgusting input lag. So the fact that any team lost to me is like already kind of embarrassing because I have like 2-second delay on my PC. I'm streaming with single PC.
Setup.
Yeah, so it's disgusting. I thought it's a little bit important, so I won't stream. But then I thought, if I stream, people won't be toxic and they'll like try put on like this good face. So maybe I should stream.
Okay.
And I was like, fuck it, I won't stream. 5 rounds in, I thought, fuck, I should have streamed because it was on Mirage and shit was getting a little bit heated. Everyone was being a little bit different. I was like, boys, we need to chill out. Just pretend the cameras are on, pretend the lights are on. And then, yeah, we lost that map anyway, but came back on the list too.
So your team, you had Calyx there, you had Mihu in the mix, Fear, and I don't want to fuck the guy's name up. Can you say Unkia? Okay.
I mean, I have no fucking idea how to say his name. I was calling him Unkia. His real name's Eugene, but I'm definitely not going to call him Eugene. So
we're just calling you for sure.
Call him Unkia. Big Unk is what I like to call him.
Now, you guys were just obviously a mixed team, right? Going by the name Benched Heroes. You're one of a bunch, right? We've highlighted this on the show before, Prof and Striker, right? We were talking about like fantasy with Tudson, I think was one of them, got thrown together last minute here. But you guys are essentially just a mixed team. Now, I've seen you stream with these lads before, right? Or play with them at some point before. So you're familiar with them here. But was this just we've got nothing else to do, let's just get in here and see what happens type of situation?
Well, I mean, the first time I played it, it was like I was still trying to go competitively, right? Like I wanted to join a team and I was hungry and stuff. And it did very well. I had a lot of views. It brought some good sponsors, got some money. So we'll do it again. Why not? We just throw it on. The first 3 qualifiers did not go as planned because I was like, we weren't really playing the game. Like we all were because they were playing FPL and stuff. But like, I'm a streamer now. I don't really wake up and deathmatch and I want to be the best. Fuck that shit. I'm just chilling, you know what I mean? So I was just chilling. And then to the last qualifier, I said, fuck it. Private profile, 130 hours past 2 weeks, nothing else but CS. And then, yeah, we qualified. It was kind of fun. We played 3 practices the day before the qualifier, and that was it. Qualified.
So actually practice. That's interesting.
I mean, but we played 3 like face hits together, basically.
The thing is, I guess an interesting question for like this level of Counter-Strike that you're playing is, right? So there's like, at a certain level of Counter-Strike, there's like an unwritten understanding of how certain situations should be played and react to, right? You're obviously not going into the same theory as what a professional team would do, but did you go, all right, boys, like this is going to be our default, like this is how we're going to take map control and shit, or you just went in there and just whatever?
Like when I'm being fully serious when I say this, we had no fucking idea what we was doing. Like, right. For example, the last map we played against Illumina, if you check HLTV right now, Fear, our IGL, that was his first ever official on Nuke. He's never played it in a team, and it was Onkia's 9th map out of 400 maps. They don't play Nuke. And that we started the piss around, and I said like, oh, yo, let's go do this. No one knew what anything was called. I was IGLing, and I was like, okay, this is pretty brutal. Fuck. Then we won pistol last second round. I was like, lost 61. I just thought it's fucking GG. Like there's no fucking way. But yeah, there was really no. I mean, we tried to play Vertigo and got 29-1 by MOUZ in a practice. We said we should probably ban Vertigo. That's kind of it. Wasn't anything like we didn't really give it our best in that sense, but The differences with the boys is like what I've noticed is we have such sick aimers, man. It is disgusting. It is so disgusting. We can win every round because it's like Onkia just buys Deeg and just shoots 5. I can AWP 3. You can like one tap everyone. So it's been fun so far.
How did you come across this particular group of people even in the first place? I mean, I know you played with them before and just like FPLs and whatever it is, but like why this 5? You know, how do you come across 2 Navi junior, like former Navi junior players and just like this random mix of people?
Yeah, so I mean, again, I love Onkia a lot, but like if Fear wasn't on the lineup, I wouldn't have played here. So Onkia asked me, and I said like, I'm not going to play with you by yourself unless you bring Fear, because for me, Fear's like he's a little bit unknown by people, and he's like his stats and stuff don't show how good he is. I've played with pretty good IGLs, I will say, some pretty good players. Fear has like a long career in this game for sure. Like he's fucking incredibly smart for somebody that you wouldn't think is smart in like the high level of CS, you know, like the mini details and stuff. I swear, like I get goosebumps thinking about how smart he is. It's fucking insane. He reminds me of God B so much in the way he approaches the game. It's weird as fuck, and that's like a big compliment to pay. I know, and people can say I'm crazy, but like I played with Gob for like 1 year, 2 years. Like he has the same thought process. Then Michu was the first person to fucking DM me on Twitter, so he got invited. And then we had Kios, who actually got stole by Gamer Legion, those little fucking whippersnappers. They came and poached our roster. Then we brought in young Fessa, got first rounded. We said, fuck off, Fessa, you're bad luck. You fuck off. And then they said, we'll take Calyx. And I said, hey, we'll try, I guess. And it worked. Then Fessa got first rounded again, and we qualified. So,
Jesus, poor Fessa, man, he's copping strays here, man.
I love Fessa. I love Fessa. I love Fessa. It's my boy. It's my boy. Yeah.
Prof actually made a comment about Fear. We were talking because I think a couple of us were watching. You made a comment, right, Prof?
Yeah, I mean, just first of all, this is my experience watching the smooya stream. I think it was maybe the Heat game, or maybe one of the first maps of the Heat game.
I think
it was literally just getting anxiety watching you play and being like super tense the whole time, and everyone's just like calming stuff. Everyone's just like everything's like all over the place.
The Onkia was just all over the place. Everyone else
and Fear just is like almost like, okay, guys, let's listen. Okay, we're gonna go 3 guys, and then like halfway he calls everything, and then freeze time ends, and smooya starts running. He's like, so lads, what are you doing? What are we doing, lads? And like Fear is like, okay, smooya, just go here, do this. I'm like, how do you maintain this composure? Just that alone was enough to impress me. Like you have to be very, very chill to, and the things that he called actually made sense and worked. So good job.
My favorite thing from Fear is like it happened 2 times now, where one time with Inferno, it was such an important round against the Russian team that we played. If they're not Russian, I apologize, but the tag team.
They were Russian.
And okay, I did, you know.
We lost your mic again.
Yeah, okay, but
when you can just like lower the sensitivity a bit, so it's like a bit more catches your speaking.
But there was 2 situations, one on Dust 2 and one on Inferno, and they were legged. I legged one guy and I died. So it's 4v5, like money swing around, and we had 3 HEs, and he said, boys, we're gonna like smoke off short, nade through the smoke big pit and graveyard because they have to be there. The guy's 1 HP is gonna be hiding, and we'll just take side. And in my head, I was like, dude, that is fucking genius. If this fucking works, I'm gonna get a boner. Nade pit, no one dies. I'm like, oh shit. Throws his nade graveyard, the guy dies. I'm like, oh my god, yes. Run side, take the, and I was just like, dude, he's a fucking genius. And the same thing on Dust 2 with back plaid. It's just a genius, bro. I swear. I actually respect him so much. It's crazy.
Well, now you get the opportunity to play with this team on LAN. You made a tweet saying that you were looking for somebody to represent. I think there's you and a couple of other teams probably in a very similar boat as that right now. But all in all, what's the plan here? Because the RMR is not for 5 weeks from now, right? We have to wait for Pro League to come to a conclusion. You have a pretty long runway here if you wanted to take things a bit more serious, or is this just, hey, look, we got this far, let's just keep doing what we're doing? Like, what's the thought process at the moment?
Okay, so there's like 2 ways you can go. We can completely lose our identity as a mix, and the only reason why we beat people, because you saw what happened against Illumina when we tried to play CS. We went 10-1 down, and we went fucking 8-0 down or some shit on 2 maps, and I was like, boys, everyone pull your fucking cocks out your ass. Onkia, buy a fucking AWP. No one talk this round, just fucking shoot people. Because like, when we try to play CS, we're not a team. Like, in 5 weeks, we're not gonna get down enough team play to beat NAVI. I don't care what anyone in chat tells me. If we practice every day, 24 practice, I don't sleep for 34 days right now, I will not beat NAVI in team play. I'll play their rotations. Da 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 da. I'm gonna have to walk out ramp on Nuke, fucking blow Perfecto's head off, run downstairs, hopefully cut their rotations, and that's it. So we're gonna keep it pretty simple. Like we'll do some practices, of course, and add like some small pocket strats and stuff like that. But people who say, "Oh, dude, this should make a long-term team," you're fucking crazy, man. Like it's not gonna work. It won't work like 100%.
If
So,
you walk out
But
ramp
look, that
and
was-
Perfecto's there, something's going wrong anyway, mate. You've already beaten them. Because
oh,
where the fuck's Bit?
I mean, Bit's hiding downstairs because he knows what we're doing. We have one shot on Nuke.
Okay.
Outside smokes go around. Bit's gonna be downstairs. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to aim to just go and be
Just have
individual
fun
beasts and pug and
and-
have a good time.
Yeah, because it's like realistically, there's 5 teams there that if we are to qualify, we're not going to beat in a best of 3. So our chances is in the best of 1. And what we have in our favor is no one has an idea. Like, imagine we just prac Ancient really hard and we just pick it first best of 1. Our last Ancient we played, we got 14-1 T side. Like, it's like really scary to play as in a best of 1 for sure. The best of 3, probably not so scary because we're not going to be so strong at every map. But yeah, just fucking have fun with it. Like the moment we take it serious is the moment we start to fail. Like you see all these teams that failed to qualify, their orgs spent hundreds of thousands a year practicing for this one sole tournament. Like they're putting everything into it, and if there was just less pressure and they just hit headshots, they would have qualified. Like it's as simple as, and that's just how it is. So just no pressure, no stress, have some fun. Goes.
Okay. Well, I guess right now we can segue this conversation and start talking about the RMRs in general, right, Striker? Because the European side has come to a conclusion now. I'm just going to quickly jump through and grab the list of the teams who have qualified, and we even have the groups available. But just off the top of your head, who are the big ones we missed? Obviously, the shock storyline with Apex is a huge one.
Yeah, I mean, Apex would be one of the. I mean, Movistar ranking wise is obviously the biggest team that missed out on the RMRs. I think outside of that, actually, after the last one, since Astralis made it, and who else was in that last one that kind of had their last chance? What's right?
Entropic.
Oh yeah, that would be that would be one more. So most of them actually in the end it didn't end up in a massive disaster where we would have like just a few big teams missing out entirely. But Movistar is obviously a big one. Apex is a big one.
Copenhagen
Flames,
even though they're kind of new,
Flames, but that was an entirely new team. I don't think that's a massive surprise, like considering some of these open qualifiers and how they've gone. So
yeah, you would definitely expect them to be there above, like Aurora, fucking Fantasy,
fucking benched heroes. Just say
benched heroes, Monty, for example, as well. Also, just like I don't know if that's a mixed team or not, but they have some sort of a logo. Who knows?
This sounds ridiculous, though. And just, I apologize for cutting people off here. But wouldn't it be more beneficial if you were like an Apex or something like this? And what you do is you just sit out until the qualifiers happen. Whoever qualifies for the RMR, you go, well, these guys seem like the best fucking prospects. So let's sponsor these guys for fucking 2 months or some shit. And then if they actually make it into the major, you keep them. If they don't, you just send them back. Because you look at the teams here. Like, and Smooya, I'm not going to offend you here by any means.
Don't you fucking dare say what you're about to say, buddy.
You guys alongside of Monty, alongside of I'm even going to put Sangal in there.
Bait is here as well.
Nah, Monty are better than those guys. They just beat Fnatic in a fucking. I mean, they switched 2 players, but they beat.
But
Fnatic
these aren't teams, Smooya, right?
They are a team. They are a team. They practice.
Okay,
that Monty team, it's an FPL mix, but that's like the only one that I would fight you on. Like, no one's beating that Fnatic lineup in a best of 3 if you're bad at CS. Like, and it was for like an 80k prize pool or something crazy.
But
but the rest of them,
a bit of a mystery.
Yeah, I mean, Monty can do damage. If Joel and everyone else isn't, if they're decent online, if they're like 85%, 90% as they are online, because they're all fucking insane online, like Warrior's also a big question mark, then they can do damage for sure. Like, they play good ass CS. But the other teams you named, Oz and the rest of them, yeah, not so good.
I'm disappointed that you guys aren't in the same group as Eternal Fire, so Calix can go up against these boys.
I would smoke Xantras. I'll say that. I'd smoke him.
Like this way we get NAVI against NAVI, 2 NAVI juniors players, which is interesting. Navi junior, that is. And one of the Fantasy has Topa, who's also NAVI NAVI junior player. So like 3 of them in the thing, and Bit as well, obviously from NAVI. So like a bunch of NAVI junior players actually in the RMR.
Does G2 have theirs on the other side?
Yeah.
Could have defaulted the match, man.
But these groups, just looking at them, right? So we're obviously talking about the outsider teams, like the ones who are like, how the fuck are these guys even here, right? That's not even the conversation at this point. looking at the groups themselves, right? Obviously, there's different distribution for the groups, right? Like one has a certain amount of legend spots, and the other one has a certain amount of challenger spots for the EU side of things, right? They're not. It's not equal, the amount of positions given up to either group. But which group do we look at here and we think is more stacked overall? Because Group A has, I'll just list off the big names, right? We got FaZe in there, NIP, Astralis, G2, Cloud9. Outside
Spirit.
of
Spirit mid top 8, right? Last match.
Yeah, but they lost Dexter since then, so that's still where we're kind of hanging out and waiting to see what happens there.
Yeah, I think in general, it's really difficult to tell where teams even are at this point. Like if you look at ends, like how the fuck do we know what if they're like obviously now right now the rank is 15, but like just whatever it is, you know, a month ago they were number 3 or something in the world, and obviously we expect that they're probably not going to be at the same level right off the bat. But does that mean they're a top 20 team? Does that mean they're a top 5, top 10ish team? Like we just don't know, right? So I can't even tell if there is like some sort of an imbalance. I know a lot of people have said that there is, that the Group B is stronger, but I just don't see
so
that.
Early to tell, man.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, as mentioned before, we have over 5 weeks until this RMR takes place. And there's a couple, like I've got a couple of things tonight that are going to get me a bit distraught. And one of them is probably how there's a large contingent of our community and even people who are pundits
that can't read.
Well, there's an issue with reading, but there's also a issue with overreacting. When the fuck did we get to the point where after 1 week of Counter-Strike, out of a break, that we were determining if teams were fucking done and dusted like straight out the gates? Because that Blast stuff, we're gonna get into Blast soon.
That's our job. That's our job. We just need to have like, I was just watching some like compilations of Roy Keane on Sky Sports. It's amazing. Like whatever happens, every game there's like some massive fucking headlines. Like, what is this? Is this Manchester United? Every fucking week you have to overreact. That's because what else do people tune in for?
But you can have measured reactions.
Do they tune in to say like, let's wait for a month and then
let's wait 3 months till the season ends? Yeah.
I'm not here to overreact about some fucking best of ones, which meant absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? I'm not signing myself up for that. I'm not here for that. I'm going to have some measured thoughts. I'm going to look at things for what they are a little bit more, and I'm going to use the understanding that I have of being, you know, a Counter-Strike pundit and formerly a professional to understand that these things don't just fucking happen overnight. But I'm going to get mad tonight. That's probably going to happen. So where are we at here? Do we have, okay, so we have the first round matchups available here for the RMRs as well, but that for me is not a huge deal, right? I don't think that because we know in the Swiss system. Are there any other key details here that we need to make sure that the people at home are familiar with while we're talking about these RMR groups?
Yeah, I mean,
other than the fact that I played and got knocked out in the second round.
Yeah, I mean the main one would be this is not the major, because that's I mean something you guys mentioned, right? These are still the qualifiers, and I've seen like people even who should know better than this to like almost call this the major. So that's random as fuck to me. These are obviously qualifiers, so that would be one thing.
I think also like the schedule is kind of different because like last time we had like group A and the group B one after another, so it's like 8 days of the RMR in Europe, and this time they stacked them together in 6 days, so it's all combined, all happening at the same time essentially.
So it's 24 teams on site simultaneously.
32.
Wait, it's 32 teams. It's 16 in either group. Fucking hell.
All
I said 24 because it's 24 teams here for Pro League.
So it's going to be very...
How are they going to do that?
They all don't play at the same time as well. That's the crazy part.
In Pro League, they play at the same time. Here they do. So, and not even that. Fuck you guys who are working the event, because you need to follow 32 teams at the same time and be up to date on all of them and know what's happening and who is in which part of the bracket and how many games they lost and everything. So
I don't even know how they're going to do it. I was just there today. Like, unless they expand on some of the stuff, they're going to have prac rooms for 32 teams.
That's mental.
I mean, they're just playing. That's the thing. Like 32 teams at the same time maybe doesn't seem that crazy, but they actually play at the same time.
This is fucking crazy. That's mental. They might have to play from the prac rooms. Like the prac rooms might be with an admin
until you get into like the last round or something like that tournament is going to be sick.
Look, if anyone's going to make this happen, it's obviously ESL, right? Logistically speaking, they're the company with everything to make this happen.
But it's still the biggest thing. I've never seen the biggest thing they've ever done.
It's a fucking circus. I'm actually blown away trying to consider that. Like I said, I was just there. We were doing media today, and I saw the setup that they had today. They're going to have to expand that setup. I don't know how they're going to do it otherwise. I look, it's a beautiful spot, Smooth. You're going to come. You're going to love it. The sun might still be out by the time you get here. Fucking hell. Okay. Any other details?
Wait, am I crazy? By the way, are they not playing at the same time? I mean, we say they are, but I feel like that's
no.
Did that have to be wrong? No?
Well, I mean, not at the same minute, but like the two tournaments happen at the same time.
No, but I mean, I'm looking at the first day, and it's got all the matches starting at the same time. But there's no way that that's the case.
11 a.m. for all of Group A.
Yeah, but there's no way that's happening.
Unless they
feel
do
like we
it
have
from
to be wrong.
rooms.
Yeah,
Right,
but why? I'm just asking, why would you run it this way, right? Like because you don't have anything else in
There's
that
a
day,
schedule
so
that
there's no
came
way that
out.
can be.
There's a
I
schedule
feel like we
that
have to
came
have
out.
it wrong.
I'm
Is
just
that
happy
an
to- I'm
article?
just happy to be here, guys. The RMR. Just I don't care about the schedule. Just tell me where I need to be. Tell me where I need to play.
There was a swimming pool at the hotel. It looked pretty
I
nice.
can't really swim. So
You can't swim?
I can, but I can't really swim. If I
I'll
had to swim
teach
for my
you.
life, I'd be done for.
No,
I
you'll
can-
be right,
I
mate.
can doggy paddle a bit. but-
It's salty out there. You'll float. Don't worry about it. There's no sharks. You're all
Anyway,
good.
I don't think this is right. By the way, the fact that they're all playing it, they can't be. It's just
That's
like,
a lot of matches.
Yeah, but there's nothing else happening on that day after that outside of the. I mean, not even the NARMR starts before like 2 days later.
Okay.
Open
Interesting.
up. Oh, okay. There's some notes under the matches. I actually didn't look at this before, and I just got surprised by it. I'm just actually being told on the side.
That's all right.
yeah, the
we
actual
can
starting
feel dead
times-
air right now. Yeah?
The actual starting times for the Swiss round 1 matches will be determined at a later date, so that's why they're just all set for 11. But I assume it's going to be the same as the second day, which is I think 4 matches at the same time, maybe.
Okay. All right. Well,
No,
that's all right.
Yeah,
That
two
we
matches
can
at
do.
the same
four,
time. I
Four
think.
streams is fine. If we're doing all of them, we wouldn't be able to stream them all. They would.
I was
they would-
thinking that there'd be like 16 streams of it.
We'd run out of casters. You'd have to.
Yeah,
cast
they're not
max,
even
mate.
4. It's just 2 matches at the same time, apparently, from what I'm looking
Then
at
Hampus
from
would have
Wednesday.
to cast one game, I guess.
Yeah, get him in there. Get Hampus in the mix, mate. We're missing Hampus. He's playing tomorrow. Pro League starts tomorrow. But what I wanted to talk about here, because Prof's done up a lovely run of show for me, is the Asian side of things, right? Because there's been a bit of discussion on this, and it was a bit more on social media today. And we've spoken about it before. Blair's been tweeting about it. Impression's been making some tweets about it. Urcast has been getting involved. But I want to make this explicitly clear because somebody, right, has read or heard what I've said before and then has completely missed the point and spoken about this, which has probably assisted in perpetuating the wrong conversation for a lot of you out there. Asia needs more spots at the RMR. And I just want to stop myself there. The RMR is not the major. Just stop there. Everybody understand that.
It
We're
was
on the same
shocking to
page.
read those comments. I'm
Mind
completely
blown.
lost. Mind blown that people can't understand the difference between the RMR and the major. It's like, no, same thing. It's a different thing. This is the qualifier. You just want more competition at the qualifier, so it produces better teams. I think that's quite
Seems fair.
logical to understand, and also allows all of the teams to qualify. I said this like a bunch of times on the podcast, but whatever, you can't really tweet 7,000 letters on Twitter. So then you tweet something it seems pretty reasonable. You think like people will understand what you're trying to say, and then if they don't understand, they're probably gonna have a measured response. No, they just it's completely crazy. But what is very interesting is what I is that there were plans to make it an 8-team RMR, but it didn't work out logistically. And this is the thing, like, of course,
Lots of that
Valve has
happening lately, isn't there, Prof?
Valve has their rules, which is like, oh, you need 4 teams and then 2 teams qualify. But obviously, whoever runs the major can give feedback on the rule set that has been put out. And Valve even, like, I think even explicitly said this, like, whoever's running a major can give feedback and then we can update stuff. So I feel like that was on the table, but it didn't work out for whatever reason for this specific Asia RMR that is being held at like a convention center.
It's at PAX, which is PAX in Australia, is in Melbourne. It's normally in the Melbourne Convention Center. It's just like cosplay and games, like what Gamescom is type thing.
Hacky. Yeah, like a dream hacky thing.
Yeah. I mean, I remember this is kind of interesting because I remember when this must have been Stockholm, right? That's the first. No, actually, no, Stockholm was
Antwerp.
after the.
It would have been Antwerp.
No, but I'm talking. Yeah, it must have been Antwerp because before Stockholm, we still had the like the previous RMR system, which was a bit different than what we have now. So that was a little bit different. But I think for Antwerp, I got asked about my opinion on like what the regions are, and I like forwarded PGO to somebody else. So it seems like at the time that was kind of like being decided, like what Asia even consists of in terms of like some distinct regions. And I guess they just didn't. I don't know why it didn't end up having more spots at the RMR itself, or if that was even a question that Valve ever asked, or if it was always just only about online qualifiers and those leading up to the RMR, which would have always been 4 spots. So I'm just curious about where this even comes from and why it would be such a problem to have 8 teams, to be honest, because I can't really wrap my... What's up?
Because when I used to play, when we would still have minors, there was 8 teams at the minors. There was normally like 2 Australian teams. There was like us and Immunity,
but then
us and
all
Chiefs.
minors were 8 teams, which also wasn't fair because obviously in Europe you have a lot more competition. So that's true. That was
I mean, they all had 2 spots,
correctly,
but they all had 2 spots, right? But so technically that was okay.
And the reason this is, I just want to make this clear. So first of all, regional major ranking, right? That is the system used to qualify for the majors. It is not the major. So right now, everybody just playing smooya and everybody were qualifying for the qualifier, right? No, this isn't BLAST, but there's a lot of qualifiers. And the situation here, when you are limiting these regions like China, Eastern Asia, which has a lot of the Mongolian representation, South or rest of Asia, which is all of Southeast Asia, which is fucking huge. That is limiting the amount of growth because there's only 1 spot available to go to the qualifier for the major. Then only 1 team is going to get through from each of those regions. And right, for example, in Mongolia, we know there's a bunch of good teams. Like we know there's a bunch of good players, right? I think IHC we're playing against NKT, which is 3 players from Mongolia, Urcast, Annihilation, and I think is it Dobu?
9?
No, Annihilation's the All-Pro IHC now. It was 9, you're right, yeah. But those guys were playing, they just missed out. For example, in Australia, we had Encore, which had Azure and Gratisfaction playing for that team up against Greyhound, which is formerly Order. There's so many fucking moving parts at the moment in that region. But both of those teams could have definitely been there to try and play, right?
Yeah, I mean, why couldn't Encore be like the 2nd best team in the whole of Asia? Like theoretically they could be, but they don't even get the chance to take that 2nd spot because they lost to Order or Greyhound.
Yeah, and that's the thing. No, I'm not fucking insane, right? Actually, I try again. I am insane, but I haven't completely lost my marbles to the point where I think that the region I come from deserves more than 2 spots at the major. I think the fact that we have 2 spots in the challenger stage of the major is already a lot, right? If we had 1, I would be happy with that. The fact that we have 2, I think, is fantastic. I just think there needs to be, because it has flow-on effects. 8 teams, then that trickles back to this. Okay, then it trickles back to this. It helps the grassroots in all of these environments. Anyway, smooya, I'm sure you don't give a fuck about Asian Counter-Strike, do you?
I mean, like, I'm just trying not to be rude. None of those fucking teams deserve to be there over like the people that didn't make it. Let's see if they're good. Let's put Apex against anyone from fucking Australia and anyone from Finland. Those guys will have a field day with them. So in my opinion, it's like
what the RMR should be. In my opinion, the RMR should be all the teams from all the regions go into the RMR, like one massive qualifier, and the best
100 teams and fucking
the best 24 teams, right? The best 24 teams in that qualifier of all the regions that come together go to the major. Not the best teams. Because I personally,
easy for you to say now that you didn't join Tiger. If that happened, you'd be like all in for Asian CS.
You see my rating in America? I'm about to be in China. Oh my god, I would have 1.8, dude. Holy fuck! And I would just walk through the qualifier like this. Get out my way, boys, and come in straight to the RMR.
Or maybe you'd lose your mind because they all play fucking crazy Counter-Strike. So
I don't know.
I mean, that fits you though. Oh yeah,
it would be fucking easy, I can promise you. But it's like, this kind of talk I hate because it's like people want the best competition, not give 4 slots to fucking Asian teams because
we give too many slots to America as well, smooya.
I mean, they can fuck off as well. Yeah, there's a lot of them bastards taking the positions, but it's still like, it's like if you want the best teams, do what you said, invite all the fucking dogs into a pit and let them fight, and then let them guys go to the RMR because it's like I promise you. 4 Asian teams. It's not making out the RMR. I'm willing to put my life on it. Put anyone else like
no,
make it out, you know?
No, you missed the point, smooya. It's not about the fact that there's more teams at the RMR, right? We all know, right, that those teams when they qualify for the major, there's only 2 of them. There's still only 2 of them, right? It's just about the fact that those teams competing, they're not coming anywhere near you, right? They're still just competing for their little slots.
Yeah,
it's about just having more of them fighting to help the scenes in those part of the world, because as much as North America fucking have the teary and get their tissues out and save us, we're in such a tough spot. compared to Asia and Oceania and South Africa and places like that, Counter-Strike in those places is fucking bleak and gets absolutely no support whatsoever, right? North America are like the boys who cried wolf, just having a fucking teary because they still have Liquid, EG, Furia, and are like already represented, right?
Fucking,
Where
yeah,
I'm from, don't get
Imperial
represented.
also getting deep into the major, that also helped them retain some slots, and then Furia getting to the playoffs, and then everything. Like you can say that NA has too many slots, but they earned it at the last major essentially, like with the results, because that's how it works now. So if they don't do it again, then they're fucked. But Liquid seems to be on track to kind of save
Thank
America.
God for Liquid, really. Thank God for Liquid.
Thank God for YEKINDAR.
Yeah, Latvia. Let's go.
Yeah.
Latvia, the 52nd state of the US.
Heck is real now,
YEKINDAR.
let's jump into Skinionaire, shall we? Because I believe that we'll have you to quiz here tonight, Smooya.
Yes.
Are you
I
ready?
fucking suck at these things, man. I always
worry,
get far
Strike-
out.
I'll help you.
I'm cheating today.
I'll
I'm
help you.
cheating. Fuck this shit. Let's go.
Striker's
baby.
going to help you. Don't use HLTV. All right, let's get into it. You ready, Lucas? Yes, Chad, I'm ready. Okay, Lucas, let's bring up Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire.
Chad, did you notice that the pillow behind your head
Yes.
makes it look like you have cat ears?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I thought you were a little bit
No.
a little bit sussy going on.
It was adorable.
No one can have fun.
Rip.
All right? No one
I
can
was
have
looking
fun
at
now.
the first show you were on, like season 2. You were on as a guest, and you had the full like Overwatch face paint thing going on.
Yes. I
That
just
was
gone to
ridiculous.
Gamescom and got
That
my
was
face painted
ridiculous.
by Melly, a friend of mine from Germany. Yeah. Okay.
Shout out to Mel.
Shout out to Melly. All right, guys. Lucas is here. He's just not talking, but let's get into Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire. Guys, type BitSkins in chat right now if you want to go in the running to win one of the 5 batches of skins.
Now that you're in,
can
now
win.
you're extra motivated, Smooya, to do well.
I do. So I do like 4 giveaways a day on my stream. I'm used. I win this. It's just going into the pile.
Well, Smooya's going to be assisting and giving one of you this skin on how many questions he gets correct. Let's get into this. Question number 1, as Lucas is still not talking. In which of the following teams did Mihu not play? Envy, Evil Geniuses, or Complexity?
Complexity.
Correct answer. I'll be locking it in. Confirmed. I can tick that one off. And question number 1 correct. All right, 1 from 1. We're going to move up. That's a 50-cent skin locked in. All right, question number 2. Coming to you thick, fast, hot, and all that other good stuff. At what major did Calyx reach the group stage? Was it Krakow 2017, Boston 2018, or Berlin 2019?
Alex reached the group stage. What does that mean, group stage? Though?
So the
Not the main qualifier, not the challenger stage, but the the group stage, the top 16.
I can give you the answer if you want.
So he got a sticker. Like he got stickers
yeah.
for it, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck me. With what team would he have done it?
Well, Cobblestone was still in the map pool.
Oh, okay. Then
Okay.
I'm gonna throw that. Wait, it has to be Krakow then, right?
It was Space Soldiers. So
Did he go to? Was it bot? Dude, I don't really know Calyx.
Rocky, you want to save him here?
I actually don't know.
It's not 2019. I know that.
8 seconds.
Oh,
Go with your gut.
shit balls. Boston.
1.
Locked it in. Locked in Boston. And that's the correct answer.
Oh
It's
my
coming
god.
in.
I
It's coming in.
remember the picture. I remember the picture of Xantres
Hands-
when his
hands in the air.
his hair's like fuck. He looks like a chicken, dude. I remember the picture because then he went to big right after. Okay.
Yeah, but that was the one where they were good at Cobblestone. That
I
was
mean,
kind
wasn't
of the-
Xantares in big already in there? Or am I crazy?
Boston 2018. No way they made
No,
playoffs
he
in the
wouldn't.
major
No.
without Xantres.
they wouldn't
No
need
fucking
Xantares.
way.
That was the first major of 2018. The second major was the Face It major.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay,
yeah,
whatever.
but
He would have moved
joined,
after that run.
He joined us
Okay.
2019. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right, question number 3. Is Lucas not talking? I'm a bit worried about him. What was Eugene's and Fear's best Academy League finish? Victory, second place, or 4th? Now, I can give you some information here.
I don't think they made the final.
Here's some information for you. MOUZ
fourth.
won the
It's
first.
fourth. It's fourth.
All right, you
It
sure?
has to- I don't remember them ever playing a final because I think I laughed at them for never making a final because it's like if you look at their team now,
They
how
should have been winning.
How the fuck did they not win the fucking? They have fucking Bit Dude, Monacy, Fear, who's like insane, and Onki's also insane. So I guess would be fourth, but because I don't remember them playing in the final. I feel like I laughed at
Same.
them.
I
for
have
not
the
making
same.
it.
I have the same feeling.
Like,
I
it's
did
third,
second,
is it,
second or fourth
it's
for
third
sure.
to
But
fourth. It's like this. Is it? Can
Yeah.
you finish third to fourth? Is that a thing?
yeah, pretty
I
sure.
don't know.
No.
Oh,
I
there was
don't
like
think so.
there was a top. Whatever. Just go with it.
You want to go
Okay.
fourth?
Let's say fourth.
Locking in fourth. Correct answer is second place.
Ah,
I think in one of the
was that
first
the
or
first
second
season?
seasons they were in the
was
final.
second. Was second.
Yeah.
I think it was a second. I think so.
Fucking
it's pretty early.
onliners, dudes. Fucking onliners.
All right, question number 4. Who on Benched Heroes has the most HLTV maps played at 1,740 maps? Is it A, Mihu, B, Smooya, or C, Calix?
I mean, that's
It
gotta
has to
be
be Michu,
obvious,
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's been
Michu.
playing probably the longest at the higher level.
Yeah.
Wanna lock in A?
He's like always been in teams as well, just farming maps. Yeah, I think Michu. It's
He's
definitely
been
not me.
in like a fucking. He's been in a million Polish teams, and the Polish teams always played all the fucking qualifiers and all that stuff. Like they
Yeah.
played so much.
Definitely not me. I have 896 on the dot.
Well, it's locked in,
Whoa.
and the correct answer is
Someone is googling. Someone is using HLTV.
A,
No,
Mihu.
I check,
No,
I
he
check, I
knows
check my
his stat
stats all the
page off
time.
by
Yeah,
heart,
1.2, 1.27 impact. I know it's. Don't worry.
Jesus.
What's your ID number?
Well, I can't tell you that. Not important.
All right, well, let's get into question 5, and let's see if we can salvage this one. Benched Heroes are not the lowest ranked team in EU RMR B. Who is? Saw, K23,
Dangle.
or Sunk?
Dangle.
Locking in. You sure?
Dangle, no?
No, I
No,
lock
Micah?
it in. I just want to check.
mean,
I'm doing my job as
It's
the
not.
host here.
It's definitely not K23. I'm just not sure where exactly Saul fell, but I would say Songal it is. Yeah.
All
I
right,
say Sangal. Even though
All
they
right.
beat me to qualify for ESL Challenger
locking in
like 6 months
Sangal.
ago.
Correct answer is D, Sangal. All right, 4 out of 5. Not bad. Not
I
bad.
always get 4, man.
Well, I normally round it up, but I just can't keep doing it. The boss is
You
on me
can't.
saying I
You
can't keep
can't.
giving away fucking so much money. They're taking it
Give
out of
away
my
the $50
paycheck.
one. I'll sponsor it. I'll do the 35 extra.
How are you going to do that?
I'll PayPal whoever I need to PayPal right now. I don't give a fuck.
Lucas, all right.
PayPal me.
You can yeah. Well, there you go. PayPal Prof. Lucas has
There
to
we
draw
go.
a winner, but I'm really sad. He's not talking. He's not here. He's just existing in the void. And he normally has to draw the winner right now. And he hasn't drawn the winner just yet.
The Winter Star has won the giveaway.
Oh, okay.
Star.
The _Winter Star. Congratulations. You have Smooya to thank. He's been following since October of 2021. So
It was
welcome.
like a power metal
Yeah,
band.
where do I send the money? Or do we do this after? Because
We'll work it out after.
Okay.
We're not going to give this guy the skin immediately. We'll work it out.
Okay,
It'll
okay.
get there over time. All right. Well, that's Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire. Smooya was the contestant. 4 out of 5, and maybe
5 out of
5
5.
if he can
High
bribe.
prize.
And now we're going to get
He bought the
into.
last answer. Right? Good job.
Now we're going to get into the juice, boys. We're going to get into some of the juice here. Smooya, your boy Simple, he took the first week off. He rocked up. He played a best of 3.
That's what
He
the
played
fuck
2
wants.
maps. He played
Fucks
2
off
maps.
again.
And
Back
now
to
he's
wherever he's going. Just chilling.
Now he's in the 4 finals. Do you think this might be the new method for Navi? Just get Simple to rock up last minute, just play a couple maps and go home.
I mean, like, obviously not like jokes aside. I'm pretty sure he had some like serious stuff he needed
Yeah.
to fix. Like, I'm pretty sure I know what it is. Like, I won't say it on stream because it's his. But usually I am the rat king. I leak it all. But like me and Sasha, yeah, it's his business. I won't like give that shit away.
Sure.
But it was like pretty serious shit. So I mean, I understand it. Yeah, I mean, Hetrick played good. Got to give it to him. Played good. Dimple also played okay. I think he's literally been playing Valorant for the last 2 weeks and just rocks up, fucks and shits on some people and fucks off back to Valorant queue. So I have no idea what he's doing. Hopefully he plays some more Valorant before the RMR, so we get him at his weakest. That'd be nice. Give it a chance, and is what it is.
Yeah, it's an interesting little experiment. Well, not an experiment, Prof, but the fact that like he can come in, just play one game, and that's all they needed him for, right? They took care of business in the best of 1 stage, and they did it the easiest way possible. But it also doesn't leave us in a position where we can say too much about Na'Vi and then how that reflects on the rest of the field. Like it kind of puts me in a bit of a perplexing situation, right? We already knew Na'Vi were good, and we weren't expecting them to fall off a cliff. But then how do you measure everything? Like, well,
very little sample size, but I think you don't really consider this much, right? You just run on what we had before the player break. You can see that individually they didn't fall off. They're not like terrible. You know, that's maybe the consideration that you can have, like a concern that after the break they're not going to be okay. I think that kind of a test you can get from Blast, like that is maybe like a thing that you can gauge from the event for sure for all of the teams. Other than that, yeah, you don't really, there's not much to take away, but they are alongside FaZe like the two best teams by far. Like all of the other teams are either were bad or made changes and also were bad, because otherwise they wouldn't make changes. I don't mean bad, but you know, not competitive on the same level as these two teams. So for me, they're still a contender for every tournament that they play, and that's it. End of the story. Like not much to add there.
Okay, well, look, I want to go wide here. And Striker, do you have anything you want to say about NAVI before I go wide?
No, I think it's just a little bit crazy that you can just not have the best player in the world on your team and you just still place first in the group. But like obviously that group was relatively weak. I mean, obviously UG2 coming in complexity. I don't know, nobody really expected much from them, even if they made changes, right? And I think Liquid was like the legit win in that group just because they fucking destroyed them, you know? And Liquid obviously proved that they are actually pretty strong at the moment after the fact, you know, when they played in the best of threes. So that was the biggest part for me. It's just like, how the fuck do you just not, can you just afford not to have your best player and still come out on top of your group?
Yeah, I look, it just to see them be able to pull that off, I think it says a lot about the system they have in place and then the quality of the rest of the players on the team, right? Because the narrative is always talk about Simple, and then you might go to Electronic, and then you might go to Bit, and then the other two at some point will get some love, but probably after we praise Blade, right? But the fact that they did that just shows the strength of all of them without the best player. So that's a positive right there in itself. But like I said, I want to go wide. And this is where we're probably going to go off track a little bit here. And we're probably going to dive into some conversations about formats and whatnot. Now, let me start with the good. I like the good. The good makes me happy. Blast undoubtedly run the best production out of anyone running Counter-Strike at the moment. There's no question mark. Absolutely no question mark. Their show is clean. It's like the setup they had. I praised it countless times here on different shows, talking about it on different platforms. I made a tweet saying that I think the way that they had the players facing each other should become the standard for these type of events, right? So we have all these positives. I want to make it very clear. Like I'm saying positives about the production. Now, we spoke about the format a little bit last time. We need to speak about the format some more because it feels like it aged poorly. When we spoke about it before, I said that, oh, it was fine. Like the start of the year, I didn't know if I liked it, but then it was okay because we're coming out of the...
You're defending the format. You're defending the format.
But I can make a case.
Are you embarrassed now? Can you apologize?
I'm not embarrassed because here's the thing. Not only do I think the production is good and the setup was good, I thought that the matches themselves, if I take them out of the context of the format being absolute, utter garbage, the actual matches, the Counter-Strike was entertaining as fuck. Like that G2 game on the last day versus Vitality, even though it was a rematch, it was entertaining. Like the clutches in a lot of these games, it was entertaining. Watching FaZe play, watching Twist body people and Brokey go fucking nuclear on Nuke. It was entertaining. I enjoyed myself. If I had paid money for that, I would have been happy with what I paid money for. But then, because I have to understand, as a Counter-Strike pundit who talks about this and watches this every day of my life, where this fits into the broader scale of the Counter-Strike landscape. And this is where I start to have a couple of issues in my little peanut brain right in here. Because one side of it goes, you liked what you saw and you enjoyed it. The other side of it goes, it's a bit disingenuous to the broader Counter-Strike landscape in the way they sold some of the particulars on there and how they were a little bit shying away from talking about some of the particulars of ramifications of where we're headed very soon. And then the format being basically, and I have to say essentially, an exhibition match because these are all partnered teams. However, the reason I won't say flat out it's an exhibition match is because it has sway on rankings and there's different prize pool and that affects different parts of the circuit, how other tournaments and whatever look at them, right? Like you have OG jumping up 7 spots for beating teams who are only in this partnered circuit. Sure, those teams are in the ranking regardless, but they can only play other partner teams and they're fucking invited to be there from the first place. The best of ones, sure, it was some seeding, but basically a waste of time. The viewer had no idea what was going on with it. And then you awarded an MVP for a group stage.
That is very
egregious.
Interesting. That's very interesting. It's also just the way that I don't know if the voting is like how they decide, but there was definitely a vote on Twitter. And the top 3 didn't even include YEKINDAR, who was like the second highest rated player, had like 93 ADR over 12 maps as a rifler. It's like, not even in contention. It was just like Mona sees I win eco because I don't know, Yekindar didn't make it into the last chance games.
Hasn't got enough clout. That's what.
Yeah, that's also like it was kind of weird.
But isn't that
that's
crazy? Like
it's
the
very
teams-
hard to determine an MVP when there's no winners. There's like 6 winners out of 12 teams.
50% of the field qualify. 50% of the field are same as, and then the other 50% are all in the same spot.
And it's also like it's just difficult. Like if you like, let's say we used, or it was decided the way that we decided, right? Like where it's really like where you got your stats really matters, like in terms of, you know, how important that stage was, and you know, moving further along, obviously in qualifying matches it would have mattered way more. And in that sense, like Blast is just so fucking all over the place and not really mattering for a lot of the time, that it's just so difficult to do that, you know, across 6 different teams that actually did what they were supposed to do, as in, you know, qualify for the fall final, right? So like it's just it would have been pretty fucking impossible.
So just to clarify, just so we have it in black and white, HLTV are not doing an MVP for the group stage.
No,
right?
no.
Okay.
Nor for the
nothing
RMRs,
that doesn't have a trophy. We would, or just as a qualifier in general. Like obviously we don't
and there we go.
necessarily,
because that's the thing. Like how do you determine, like Yekindar got this team through in the normal bracket single elimination, not single elimination thing, whatever, the gauntlet, let's say. So that was the most important game. But then it also isn't, because then there are these people that play the last chance. How do you determine what is more important? Where do you need to perform? It's just a very weird and very hard to determine. And I mean, you could literally look at this event, particularly like Monasi and Yekindar having like a 0.2 rating difference. How do you fucking decide who is better, who is more important to? I don't know. It's not really a great thing. But overall, I think it goes back to the point is that like 6 out of 12 teams qualify, which is problematic in itself, especially if you have like partner teams, and some of these partner teams are like complexity and EG, so automatically 2 teams that can't qualify. So now you're down to like 10, so more than 50% of the actual field is going to qualify later. So the fact that they managed to actually make this exciting is very interesting, because in the end it's not really like it's not there's not that much on the line, because there's like multiple ways to re-qualify through the showdown, and even if you don't qualify, it's just like the fall finals. It's not a major. So
but the thing is as well, if you're a team who have won whatever event on the road to their global finals or world finals, then you're already qualified to it too. Like they use Pro League as qualification for their world finals, the majors as qualification for the world finals. So as a player, right, even though you're mainly doing content creation and streaming now, how do you look at the Blast circuit, right? Because for me to say like to say essentially exhibition matches, that's pretty fucking harsh kind of vernacular to be using it. How do you see it as an active player?
I mean, like Blast have always been a little bit how do you say, a little bit sussy, because I remember specifically Snappy hates the Blast system.
Yeah, we had him on here talking about it. He don't like it.
We were in contact, and I remember EG lineup with Michu and those guys would just go into Blast, getting absolutely smacked every time they went there. But because they finished last place in a really notable event, they were always top 20. So that means they got invited and enough ESL points to stay above us and would like get more points than us and stuff. And it's very hard to break into. I've never played a Blast, so I can't really give like a, you know, like a big hoo-ha-ha about it.
Well, I heard that the prac PCs this time round from multiple players' accounts were dog shit.
I mean, I literally, as I said, I don't
saw
really
some
care about the whole. But again, it's like right now, I don't know. As you said, the games were insane to watch, and
it was
I really like
fun.
the content and stuff they do. Like, it's all really good, you know? But it feels very, like, closed. Like, it's kind of like, once you're in it, and you can't really fall out of it. And it would feel better if you could, like, maybe lose your spot, kind of, but...
But you just there, right? What you've said is kind of where I'm at, right? Like, it is what it is. Now, can I accept it is what it is? Because I enjoyed it. I liked what I watched. I enjoyed my time. But I think I can accept it if we can all accept that it is exactly that. This is just entertainment now, right? We're doing like WWE Counter-Strike with all your favorite personalities and teams and brands, and we're going to put on a show, and we're all going to have a great time, and we're going to love the high quality of it. But we need to acknowledge that, guess what? A Bad News Eagles, led by Rigon's crazy aim, could come in here and flatline EG any given Sunday. This, like, you've got complexity in the server right now.
As well. Throw it out there.
Well, yeah, but they're being spoken like. These teams are being spoken about like they're hot shit because they're in Blast, but realistically, we know they're not.
That was my problem too, because it's kind of like, as you said, org, whoever it is upstairs just throws a bunch of money, boom, you're now a good team. It's like you're not a good team. You get paid to get fucking smacked every time you go to an event, and then you're like a fucking pinata. You know what I mean? Like it's
No, yeah. The whole talk about complexity, like being improved. Like okay, like EG won one map first time in like 400 days against European opposition.
They
Like
did
how's
look
this?
really good though. In fairness, on that map, they did look really good. But it,
Yeah,
overpass?
bro. Like
it is what it is. Like
After
you said.
400 days, you're bound
You'd
to look
hope so.
good. You're right.
Every dog has
What
its
is
day.
this? What are what conclusions are we drawing out of this? This is ridiculous. Like it is really ridiculous.
I saw those tweets from
Yeah.
Neelan as well. Neelan said, "Thank you," something like "see haters" or something, and I was like, "No one's hating. I'm just saying that you lost, and that's how it is." You know what I mean? Like, you
There's
lost the game.
there's a lot of eyes though. It's a big organization. You're a partner team, right? You're getting paid lots of money, especially we know like Cirque and Breeze have been getting paid a lot of money for a long
How
time.
much money, Sponge? How much? Let's get some
We-
numbers.
South of 50, but you know, north of 20, somewhere in there.
All for 30, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, I wasn't gonna go that close. You said
There we
it.
go.
All right. So
Crazy shit. Crazy shit.
Yeah, I
Crazy
know.
wolves.
I know. It makes you roll in the grave, doesn't it? So I think here the thing is, if we can have the acceptance that we go, okay, well, we like this, they do a good job, but we need to all just be on the same page that we're accepting what we're watching in front of us is exactly that, mainly a show, less a competition, because that's when 50% of the field qualifies. What are we fucking talking about? Or we come up with a solution of how we can make it better. Now, I had a thought. Now, and when I say I had a thought, Yanko had a thought, and I've kind of piggybacked off the back of it here. Strike, if you
go.
like your format,
It's
listen
your
to this
fault.
one.
It's your fault. It's your fault.
So 12 teams for the group stage of Blast is currently how it is, and it's only partner teams. Now, the rationale, if we're going to work through this, is so that those partner teams take up 6 of the slots in the arena for their arena events, right? But knowing that you have 12 partner teams and those partner teams there, unless they do want to fall into just being thought about, as I'm saying, as a bit more of an exhibition group stage, right? Just to put their teams on show, then you need to have teams come in, but you can keep it completely closed. You do not need to invite the next 4 highest ranked teams in the world who are not in your event. You can invite any 4 teams that you want with any personality, right? Maybe you pick Cloud9 because you know they have a big brand, and you go a bit further down the list and you grab somebody like, I don't know, fucking Furia just to get a few more Brazilian viewers. Whatever you do, I don't give a fuck. Blast can keep that decision completely up to themselves, but bring those teams in to compete against your 12 partnered squads. And then if those guys, we work out a format, if they're able to still snatch up all 6 of the spots and ward away these 4 invited teams, there's fucking 12 of them who are going to get 6 okay, so we up it to 16. Now there's not 6 guaranteed spots anymore. But what does that say about the field of Blast teams if they can't win the majority of spots against 4 invited teams that are not partnered squads? That just shows that the 12 partnered teams they have are probably not that good then, right? So like they just insert a little bit of risk so the viewer can get a little bit excited about that concept. You can still do your showdown. You can still do all this other stuff you do, and that's fine. But at least give us some form of like actual competitive nature other than 12 teams who are already partnered with us. 6 of them are going to be in the showdown, are going to be in the 4 finals.
It's
like
I mean, this has never been a competitive discussion in terms of Blast, right? Because it's always been like, because the teams, I'm
Okay,
sure
when
in
they had their
contracts,
best of 1 format, they literally in a room with a bunch of talent when we were discussing their format said that they thought, this is back in the best of 1 format, this is going back a couple of years, they thought that their format was the most competitive format.
do you mean the round robin where they all played at
The one
the
we
same
did in
time?
Lisbon.
I think they even said that.
Oh,
I think
this-
they even said that.
They literally said they thought it was the most
I mean,
competitive
the one
format.
that is being used this year, or
No. Back
the
in Lisbon a couple of
16
years
is one
ago.
no,
that's in
the,
arena.
the 3 teams at the same time, or 3 matches at the same time, round robin type thing, right?
I scoffed. I physically scoffed.
That is
and
unbelievable.
had to
yeah.
explain that the format was not the most competitive format. It was the most cutthroat format, right? But
Yeah.
it definitely wasn't the most competitive format by any
No.
stretch of the imagination. But
Yeah, I
like,
mean, there was
is
basically
there
like,
solution striker?
just to as an argument to that particular claim in the first place, there was a fucking tournament. I don't think it was Lisbon, but it was one of these Blast Pro series, right? Where I think it was Navi played Cloud9 in the last round, and if they didn't, or was it now, or was it Astralis? But I think if they didn't beat Cloud9, they would have met them again in the grand final. But if they did beat them, they would have met Astralis or something like that. Somebody bigger, much bigger than that. And then they won like 16-14. So like fortunately they didn't catch a lot of flack. So they played Navi played Astralis in the end. But I mean, if that can happen in your format where you can basically, if it works out, you can basically choose your grand final opponent based on a result of the last match, then it's maybe not the most competitive or has the most integrity,
Yeah, I don't know. Just add more to it. Like it as it is now with like the 12 teams, it's very hard to make it interesting and exciting. There's just too many empty games that don't mean anything. Like I tweeted
Didn't
out
you enjoy the
thing.
games though, Prof? Did you enjoy the matches?
Whatever. I'm not going
That's
to ignore
random
your
though,
question
right?
and just make my point because I don't care what you're trying to say.
I'm trying to play both sides here. I don't know where I am.
But that is not. You don't control that, right? That's not like anything you
What
put
if the
into.
matches were bad? Yeah, then it's
The matches.
then you'd
could
be
have been
shitting
bad,
on
like,
the event right now. Shit
Right.
format. It was such bad content. I hate Blast. Something like that.
My point is like I just tweeted like the difference between like G2 and Vitality results yesterday or this morning. I don't know, one of these mornings. Classic, you wake up and you're angry right away because you looked at your phone. Don't do it. But essentially I did it. And you see their results. You see that both teams like Vitality won more games essentially than G2, but they lost the last game to G2, and they won directly once, then they lost again.
So they won one.
But they won one, but they lost to Navi, which is probably like, so what did they actually gain from the 2 wins in the first group stage? Nothing. What they gained from the win again directly against G2? Nothing, because they ended up in the same spot in the last game that decided everything. Everything that happened before was absolutely not important. So it's just stupid. It doesn't make sense that you get these wins and they don't amount to anything because you lost in the right or wrong moment. For G2, they lost in the right moments, and Vitality lost in the wrong moments and get fucked. And I'm not saying now people, of course, the funniest thing is like people from like G2 liked my tweet because they agree that the format is bad. I'm pretty sure. But fans of G2 came at me because like, oh, what are you saying? They obviously won the most important game. Like, bro, even the people you support think it's stupid. Why are you trying to defend it? I'm not attacking G2 or saying they don't deserve to qualify. That's not even the point. The point is that we're watching games that don't really add up to anything, and they're there. They're just filling dead air.
Yeah. The thing was with this last one, I maybe could have looked past it if they scrambled the matches for that last chance bracket.
Yeah,
right? Because
why is that not a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, but considering how much chopping and changing they did throughout the rest of it, from the best of ones into the gauntlet bracket, it seemed like a bit of an oversight to me, because in my mind, Vitality and G2 in this season are currently 1 best of 3 for Vitality and 1 best of 3 for G2. So they are equal in my mind with results. And I don't give a fuck if you want to say Apex didn't frag well, or HooXi got 2 kills, or JKS is overhyped. The result at the end of the day is quite literally the only thing that actually matters. You stat watching fucks, okay? And right now, G2 qualified and Vitality didn't. And do you know who got hard done by this? Vitality, because they already beat them once to go forward a step, and then G2 got a second crack, and nobody wanted to play that game, I'm sure. It would have been better if everybody got matched up against different opponents or something that they hadn't played. Right now, let's not pretend, just because I know people will be like, he's defending JKS and he thinks HooXi did okay. HooXi did fucking atrocious. But I also know that HooXi just went from in-game leading a Danish squad to now an international team. And I know, because I was an in-game leader, just the level of micromanagement that you need to do. That is still not an excuse for the amount of frags that he got, right? Don't worry, I'm not going to defend him there. But it's the first event for a lot of these teams with new rosters. And we're already acting like the world is fucking over. I don't know when everybody lost the plot and it started raining cats and fucking dogs, but apparently it has. One tournament, as we just discussed, with the context of the format, where 50% of the field qualified for the finals, and we are acting like this right here defines these Counter-Strike teams when we haven't seen teams like Cloud9 play. We haven't seen teams like ENCE play because they're not invited to the big boys club. They don't get to play over there at Blast. And we will get to see them play in future events. And then once we get to the major, we get to see everybody play. And smooya is going to come through like Bad News Eagles and get a bunch of upsets. And that's what fucking Counter-Strike is about. not about having your closed off fucking circuits and teams playing against each other, jacking each other off, making himself look good and inflating their rankings. That's not CS. So I got my rant out. I've been salty.
It was emotional.
I've been mad.
Calm down now.
And now we can all go to bed. This was an hour-long edition of HLTV Confirmed. Good night. No. But seriously, though, now we can kind of pivot unless anybody wants to pick up on any of my anger.
Yeah, no. I mean, we'll get later on. I mean, people now say like ESL shill. We'll get to pro.
I already
league.
said
Like,
the good shit. I said the good shit. I can't say the good shit any more than I already said it. I think Blast production is the best production out there, and nobody is even close.
The thing is, like,
just in case.
We're going to get to Pro League, and Pro League also sucks, but just for different reasons. It also
round
sucks.
robins, yeah.
Yeah, and 5 weeks of like not really that exciting as well. So, but a better format still in a way, despite all of its flaws, and more invited teams. But let's fucking go. G2. Should they change the roster? Let's go. Smooya, are they changing or not? Stick or shift?
With
Twitch, stick or twist.
With G2.
Yeah. Are you replacing HooXi already? Is he out?
Bro, they just won this insane Blast tournament that meant so much. Why would they ever switch?
And Monty got the MVP. So
of course, they're in winning ways right now.
This is G2 esports that we're talking about.
Dude, all I'm saying is right now, who could they get? I mean, everyone wanted HooXi. I also wanted them to get HooXi. Then I saw them in the server and I was like, I don't know if they need HooXi. And I don't know if they need JKS. But not his gameplay. I mean, you know what? It happens in FPL. People keep I'm like, dude, my team's sick. I joined the game, I hold tab, and I'm like, my team's not that sick. That's what it feels like with HooXi. And they also definitely didn't need JKS. It's a good pickup, and it can work, but everyone has to shift a bit too much. I think they can just play one RMR, see how it goes. If it goes good, let it stay. But they probably will make some changes. If Device comes free, I know Monesi played good, but I would try to get Device if they could.
There's no way. There's no way.
I will just try to get Device. That's all I'm saying.
Really, you think Device would be let's say even in a year from now, do you think Device would be a more solid thing than Monesi who has just played his best event?
Are you saying free agent? Are you saying free agent Device, or they need to buy Device?
Okay, maybe they wait a little bit, but it's still like. But the fact you sit there and say that Monesi is better than Device, are you fucking crazy?
No. Device, I don't know. But I don't know if you don't
Device, think. I don't care what it costs.
You don't think Device is a risk?
Device made top 8 with LNZ at a major. Are you kidding me?
But he hasn't played in a year.
This guy is a magician.
But he's great bullets on
LNZ. Fall with who else was on the lineup? Fucking a bunch of noobs. Like
the problem
if he joins G2, it's raps, dude. Device, Nico, Hunter, HooXi as well. You see that guy? Oh my god,
the problem I have with that is obviously first of all, Device hasn't played in a year. Yeah, that's one thing. Or whatever it is, 9 months, 10 months, or whatever.
He's playing Faceit. What are you talking
and that's one thing, right? But the fact that the way that he exited an IP, you don't think it's a fucking massive risk to take Device into your team at the moment?
I mean, okay, I'm not going to air anyone's dirty laundry, but I'm going to say that Lightning that struck Device is definitely not going to strike him again, okay? He had some unlucky personal situations happen.
Yeah, but I mean, is that personal enough to last 10 months and for you to just exit the team in a way where, nobody really knows anything about what's happening? If I was a team... If I was a team looking into Device at the moment, I would fucking think twice if I wanted a guy like that.
I like you a lot, okay? I hope nothing even 1% as bad that happened to Device happens to you in your entire life, because it was fucked up. Yeah? It won't happen again. And you're going to not take a chance on a guy. Have you seen Device's fucking resume? Holy fucking shit. If there's anyone you're not gambling on, it's that guy. Every team he goes to, he brings a trophy. Every team he goes to, their team gets significantly better.
He didn't do that well with an IP, to be fair. Of course, they didn't have a great team.
He did pretty well. I think people underrate the NIP Device era, honestly, in my opinion.
You think?
I mean, the Anonymous game wasn't that hot, but the games online and stuff was pretty good,
He got them their first trophy in 3 years or something.
Yeah, 4 years.
I mean,
and they peaked in the rankings for the first time.
And look who he had next to him. He had the guy who is either 30-5 or 5-30, Mr. Rez. And I do love Rez, but he's a little bit inconsistent here. And then if you give him Nico, it would be insane, I swear.
The thing for me is why he's not gonna be free. He's never gonna be free. He's always gonna be a buyout Device. And then why are you buying him when you already bought fucking Monesi, who's at this event he's been fucking insane. So
he won the MVP.
For fuck's sake.
The thing is, Monif is insane, okay? And Ilya is also a very good friend of mine. I don't want him to be homeless. If he, okay, maybe it's a bad scenario, but it's Device. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like there are other teams that need an upper more.
It would take Monif
like complexity or something.
Yeah, but Device isn't going to join complexity.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
The only place that makes
Device,
sense
if you're watching, I don't want you to go to complexity.
The only place that makes sense for Device to go would be back
Oh my
to
god,
Astralis.
Astralis! Fuck, I completely forgot. Yeah, wait, scrap everything I said. Okay, I have an Astralis lineup that could be
Look
number
at
one in the world.
this. Heroic.
No. I had an idea,
Heroic.
SPUNJ. You can tell me if this
Okay.
is good, okay? So
All
this
right.
is my dream lineup. Okay, I have two lineups because one of them is a little bit funky, okay? So you have Dupree, Magisk, Device, Blame F, either Config or Glaive, depending on which way you want to spin the wheel. Because Blame can IGL, but he's a stat hungry motherfucker when he's IGLing, and when he's not, but more so when he's IGLing. So would you take Glaive or Config?
Probably
Because-
Glaive.
So then that lineup right there, that 5, would that be top 3? I think it would be top 3, my opinion.
Yeah, well, you've just see the
Well,
thing is,
just
I'm
making
Yeah,
up
oh, wait.
shit. Look at this. Look at
I'm
okay,
coming on
Smooya,
the
look at
ride.
this. Smooya, look at
I had
this.
that argument with
Smooya, look
Form,
at this.
and-
Look at this
okay.
lineup. Simple.
Oh, come on
Zaiwu,
now. Come on.
Okay, I'm
Nico,
listening.
my mom, and my dog. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
without
That's
the
it.
last two,
I don't even have
team
a
in
dog.
FPL.
So it's a 4v5. Let's go.
With those 3, I beat them in FPL. It's not that hard, but I'm being serious, dude. It would be sick if I joined G2. That's on
Look, I wouldn't argue whether the team would be good or not. Obviously, they would be good. The problem is you've put in way too many things that won't happen, right? If we have Device,
never say never, dude.
What you think? Magisk and Dupree are leaving Vitality?
I mean, everyone has a price. I'll tell you something right now.
Well,
Chad.
Astralis don't have the money.
Every human has a price.
Gangster, bro.
Astralis don't have the money.
Bro,
They're going to
that's
keep
true,
their
that's true.
shareholders happy, mate. We're worried about Astralis. You should have seen how concerned everybody was about Astralis if they didn't make it to the fucking major, bro. We were worried if they were still going to have the doors open.
They're top 3 in the world right now. Be careful who you're talking about. With Bartlig on the rest as well.
In hell, you are here just to wind me up. I think you
No,
saw
That's his name, no?
Bali.
Oh yeah, okay. I call him
Bali.
Fartlig just because it's such a good Twitch chat meme. I swear it's fucking amazing.
You guys,
It is.
Twitch
It
chat
is,
is
though.
so
It
funny.
is.
Dude, I'm a streamer now. I have to. It's KekW's pot friends and stuff like that. Guys, can we get some pot friends in
And you
chat? Does
don't know who
anyone have that?
XQC is.
What's the
I don't
deal with
watch
the
Twitch streams.
fucking teapot? What's the deal with the teapot?
It's the pot friend, dude. Look at the
What is-
emote.
what does
look
that
at,
mean?
Look at Twitch chat, dude. It's you've never seen the pot friend. I have no idea.
I
where it's
saw
from.
people are like constantly asking, like, please do this in real
Dude,
life. I'm like,
I only know it from Oni. All this shit's from Oni, dude. I swear. These guys are bad influence.
We're in madness now. We're in
Look
the
at the
realms
chat,
of
dude.
madness here.
Chat, do it one time for the screenshot. It will be sick. for
I'm not
Twitter.
doing it. I don't do things on command. You know, that's not. That's
Okay,
not
I
how.
advise you to do it in like 5 minutes.
All right, yeah.
Rather
When
than-
no one's ready for it, we'll consider it. Maybe it'll even be the sign off for the night, so we keep the viewership retention. You see, look, I'm thinking. Okay, let's get back on track. I went on a whole rant about Blast, and now let's talk about Blast. And quickly again,
Device is
quickly
coming
ag-
back with Dupree to
just want to get this one out there again. I think Blast have the best production. The quality
Trying
of
to get
their
hired?
broadcast is
Especially
I
when
don't- I-
when
Are you
Chad's
trying to get hired? What's
virtual
going on here?
hired.
I have to smooth it. The thing is, I have to say the nice thing 6 times because they
The bad
only
thing
remember
once.
the bad thing,
Yeah, that's fun.
right? But the nice thing, that people need to remember the nice thing. It's important.
You
Okay,
enjoyed the randomness of the good CS matches, which could have been bad. That was your favorite part of the whole
that
thing.
was my favorite part.
So it could
Okay.
have been a UK event called Insomnia, and if the events were really good, you would be praising Insomnia right now.
Yeah, if the quality of Counter-Strike was as high level as what
Oh,
we're
did you see
getting
the
out
one
of,
this weekend?
yeah, I
They had
didn't.
15 SV in the final on LAN playing on an online server. It was pretty good, man. I'm not even lying to you. Why are you laughing at that? They were playing on a German
Why are you
server
still
in
going
a
to
UK LAN
BYOC
final.
lands?
I wasn't there. I was watching my friends lose.
Okay,
I was
thank
streaming.
God you weren't there. Okay, all right. Striker, you were talking about Liquid before. You were saying positive things, and you're the #1 Liquid fanboy on the show. So would you like to get us back on track
Where
with
did that come
Liquid?
from? I
Well,
guess I am, actually.
you've had
Yeah,
the
that's fair.
most faith in Liquid
Yeah.
for the longest time, I would say, since this YEKINDAR rumor and addition.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I just think YEKINDAR is a fucking beast, and I think he showed it at this event. I think Cologne was it was pretty clear that he was still kind of like trying to mesh with the team and find out his spot. obviously, getting used to the whole like speaking in English, all of that, he's not going to be at his best, right? I think this event was where we could see just how good YEKINDAR can be if he's comfortable, Obviously,
he looked a bit baity before the break.
Was
he still a bit baity this time?
No, he was like, if you look at the fucking what was the last best of 3 where they just destroyed
Heroic?
Yeah, that's the one. Where they destroyed Heroic, he was just fucking running around the map and just killing everybody. Like, he didn't give a shit. Like, he was aggressive as hell. So, like, obviously, once people catch on, this is actually something that he even said to me in the interview after that people just don't know how Liquid plays at the moment, and they changed up some things before this event. And YEKINDAR is more like an aggro lurker rather than like an entry and stuff like that, And that's something that once people catch on to it, it's obviously going to be a little bit more difficult for him to play that way. And that's kind of what happened in Outsiders as well for a while, or in Virtus Pro before that, right? Where at the beginning of the last year, I want to say, there was like a period where he was struggling to find his place, and just like having that much impact as he was. But he came back from that, and he was still the YEKINDAR that made top 8 or whatever it was in the ranking, So like, obviously, this is a fucking amazing player, and that's kind of what I saw at Blast, that he can have like insane impact even in a team where he's surrounded by people who should be the stars. If you look at Elige or if you look at NAV, even OC, is working up to that level. So they just have 4 really fucking strong players at the moment.
So, Prof, are they winning the major?
No.
But how good do you think they can be? Legitimate question, right? The major's a bit of a meme, but like I have, like, they look like they could be mega legit. Like, the experience mixed with the ability. Sick.
I guess like we had 2 question marks when this team came together. Was like Nitro and Chalks. The combination was not very convincing. We had the trio of like OC, Elige, and NAF. Like, okay, this is gonna work. This is gonna be good. But the 2 older dudes were like, this might be too much, and it turned out to be like not the winning formula essentially. And then with YEKINDAR, like I've been pretty. I mean, they didn't sign him yet, but it seems like it's going. It seems like it's going in that direction. Like, Elige was pretty optimistic about it. So let's just imagine that they do sign him. For me, this was like an obvious upgrade for any team that's out there. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like I put out a stupid tweet just saying, if you get a better player, you're probably going to be better. And people got upset about it. But like, this is the classic example of it. It's like Rops for Olofmeister and stuff like this. Like, you can't, even if it's not like a perfect replacement, he is like in 70% of the places he's going to be like comfortable. He's just so much better than Shox is now that the team's going to be fucking great. And then on top of that, from what the team has been saying, not only is he good like on the server as like shooting heads, but he's bringing so much of like the European meta and stuff like that to the team that everyone's going to improve as well. It's not like just he is going to be good. Like, the whole team is going to be better. So yeah, I'm convinced that this could be like a top 5 team. I'm pretty sure that they could be,
Brings the vibes as well. Like, they lost Stewie, like the hype man. He's kind of like that as well. So Yek is like, honestly, he's kind of like a perfect teammate. And I play with him in FPL and stuff, and all of his past teammates I've spoke to, they've all always said good things about him. Super nice kid. Really, really nice kid.
Except Apex?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Do you remember the interview? There was an interview in French, like a French podcast or something, where he said that
they talk like we talk now.
Yeah,
right.
You think
like
so?
Smooya's like, I love this guy, but
might be.
That's the same type of conversation, right? Like,
I don't know even what context do you say. Like, I don't want to play with YEKINDAR.
Well, it depends on how the question's asked. It's like the question could, and this is the thing, I don't know. A French person could probably tell me if they watched it, but like, let's just say the context was if we had Apex on here right now and we were like, Dan, who you getting? Like, YEKINDAR's on the market, right? And he, maybe he says something, just off the cut, like, it's not always going to be a buttoned up response, and that's cool. You want that. The thing that it's been translated into English, we don't know what was actually meant by that. I don't want to jump to any conclusions and assume there was malice.
Don't jump anywhere.
Yeah,
just
I'm not very good at jumping
like a normal person.
But how good can they be, Smooya? Prof reckons top 5. Like, do you think these guys are like? I know it's still early, and I was talking before about
to say it's any team, right? It's, as you said, it's fucking way too early. Like,
so it's still just phase Navi. We haven't seen enough from anybody else to go, yeah, these guys are contenders for the top.
I mean, the major's like where we're gonna find out. There's no other place to think, to be honest. Like, I'm excited to see Ends play, because if some Pius is like 95% of the play he was on Movie Star,
95, just
Yeah.
95.
I mean, like, maybe he could drop to like 90 and they'll still be insane because like 90% of some bias is better than 110% Hades. You know what I'm saying? So, and Hades didn't really play 110% that often. It was like, oh, Hades was okay. He's just a good AWPer, a good support AWPer. But now they have a fucking AWPer, like he can bang, and I'm excited to see that. And Valde also, very good player. They're like the team I'm excited to see the most for sure. But Liquid, if everything clicks, I mean, they can do really sick, man. If Nitro keeps like playing well, he's also been playing okay. You know, at the beginning he was.
It was a
not
bit
that
rough.
hot.
Right?
Yeah,
it was
it
definitely
was
a bit hot. But he's getting back into it and stuff. And if he can give you like a 0.95 to 1 consistently, and everyone else plays usual, they can be like easily playoffs at the major, top 4 probably. Like,
I assume what you said was good. We didn't hear you, but
really?
You said
Yeah,
top
the
4 and then
yeah, they can make top 4 at the major. Exactly.
Okay, all right.
Like if they get like good matchups and stuff, like they can smash like someone.
Okay. Well, we spoke a bit about G2. Let's talk more in depth about G2 now. You said something interesting, Smooya. You said they didn't need JKS, but you thought they needed HooXi. Is that what you said? Like this is before you saw them play.
Yeah. So
okay, so what do you mean by that? A bit more detail.
So, I mean, I saw Hunter do this tweet saying like, "Oh, finally I can play the roles I want to play," as if he hasn't just been top 20 player for like 2 years of his career and like one of the best players in the world. And now he's like, now I can be comfortable and be an entry fragger because he hasn't like lurking. So they're going to bring in JKS. And I think it's like, it's really hard to say because I need more time to watch him play, right? The way I understand JKS, his best role is like second or third in, like almost like an Unleash kind of player. But then you set him up to win some clutches too. Like that's how, because I also played with him for like a month and a half, 2 months, and when he was a top 20 player in the world, like consistently, and that's when he plays good. But in this team, he can't really do that. And the positions they need on CT side, I don't think he was playing. Like,
so this is the thing. There's certain things that they were talking about, like during some of the casts. For example, one of the things they were talking about JKS playing ramp, and then how he previously, before in Complexity, played top side. But the thing is, Justin's always been a ramp player, and even when he first joined Complexity, he was the ramp player, but they moved him to top side and swapped it with config, right? Or like Vertigo B player, like he's always been the anchor.
He's an anchor,
of the yeah.
Like the pitch role almost, but he does it really well. That's why he's insane. Like Biap's Mirage and stuff like that, he'll also play that kind of zone. Just
I worry about
more like A. Yeah.
He's doing the A role at the moment. They got
exactly.
HooXi B,
sorry.
But the thing is, with what you're saying, I see where what you're saying is going. The thing is, because I watched their games a lot more intently than I watched the others, right? Because I wanted to see how Justin was fitting in. And I knew that he was going to be rusty because he traveled like a week before to Europe. He was just playing Australian face at Pugs, owning everybody, and then flew to Europe. So I only had a week to get back into shape. And I could see like he's whiffing sprays or he's coming in behind someone and not trading. And I'm like, well, Justin should trade that, right? Like he's a caliber player. He should make that trade. And there was a lot of those moments there. And I was like, okay, well, like I, as me being his friend, are going to ride that up to he's a bit rusty, as everyone else is going to say shit. And that's fine. It's probably somewhere in the middle, right? He probably played some situations shit and some situations were because he was a little bit rusty. I don't think either are a completely true stance. But I'm not going to sit here in front of everybody and say that I think that Justin played well. I think that he did his job in a lot of circumstances, but there are a lot of games that he, could have performed better, I think. And I think he would think the same thing. But in terms of what you were talking about, there were certain things I noticed with G2, like Vertigo A ramp. Nico would jump up first, take a fight, maybe get the kill, but get dropped down to 10 HP. And then Hunter would die somewhere else, actively looking for a fight at the start of the round. And sure, that they find themselves back in a 4-on-4, but Nico's the walking wounded and HooXi copped a nade as well. And then there was other situations where, like Mirage in that final map they played against Vitality, like Nico was just running out and bopping Spinks. Like he was hitting those gnarly Nico one taps that we all fucking love. And I was like, oh, okay, so Nico's getting stuck in now. But then other times I saw him like lurking. So this is what I envisioned with the team. I envisioned the pack to be, map control pack to be Nico, HooXi, and obviously Monacy, who was very hyper aggressive looking for those alt picks, which is great. JKS, the passive lurk, activated mega late, and Hunter, the more active lurk, using the space to look for opening picks. But it didn't always work out that way. But it's also was just their first bunch of officials together. So I don't know how much they've really done. I'll throw this one to Smooya before I open it up to the floor of the room. But Smooya, in that amount of time, right? If you actively look at this, so let's say there was 2 weeks,
It's like
before
2.5
Blast.
weeks. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't
Yeah.
long at all.
How much do you think, like, of what's necessary of a team to compete at the top level could you have realistically gotten done in that time period?
I mean, like none almost. Like it would almost just be like a pug, right? Because it's like, for example, with JKS, I know when playing with him, he plays much better when what happens on his screen will happen many times during the game, and then he can react on like familiar situations. You know what I mean? That's when he's really, really good. When he doesn't have to think so much and he can just whip people's heads off. And like you can't really do that in 2 weeks because maybe he has a new position or this, and you know it's a little bit random. I mean, I honestly think if you give it like, how long would I say? I did it a long time to be good. I think like the small micro details that like the top teams have, you know, the phases and RVs, this. Yeah, it will take a long time, like 6 months.
By the
maybe.
major? Okay,
No,
not
no,
the
no.
major then.
Like to be like 100%. Like Hunter said it himself, they're like 20%.
20% or something.
Definitely
Yeah.
not 20. Let's calm down. Maybe like a 45, 50, but it's true because it's like, what can you do in 2 weeks? You can do 1 or 2 maps pretty well, have like a good foundation, but they don't even know if it's going to fucking work. They haven't played in the officials. Okay, you're beating A23 and Sangle on Mirage, T-side 15-0. You go play against Navi and Simple's Underground every round with AWP. Okay, what now? So I think they did very good for the first fit. Like they can't be mad, you know what I mean? They got what they wanted. With everyone playing pretty bad, Monacy had a bit of a life event. Hopefully that can continue. But I'm excited to watch Justin because he's deserved a team for a long time. So yeah, good guy. Good guy, good player.
What do you make of this, Prof? Are you on which side of the camp are you on here? Are you on the burn HooXi at the stake and JKS with him, or are you on the let's see what happens?
But I'm staying on the boat with Kassad from the couple of shows ago when we were assessing this before we saw them play, because essentially what I said about Blast, I'm not gonna like take any big conclusions out of this event, and from what I saw, it's kind of in HooXi struggled individually super mega a lot, and
it made
that was
me
to
feel
be
good about my stats. My stats are fucking terrible.
So that is kind of as expected. JKS got into it in the second week. He was much better than the first, so that's okay. I think it's a roster changes that are going to take a lot of adjusting, especially like, unfortunately, yeah, it's G2. Yeah, they want to win the major. Yeah, they made big signings, but they changed the IGL and they changed roles on the T side quite a bit. So it's going to take adapting. And the IGL didn't speak fucking English in his teams before, so that's also an adaptation period. It's going to take a lot of time, and I think I don't think this is the team. I don't think HooXi is the solution for G2. Like I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
that, essentially. I will look and see, and maybe I change my mind, but I don't think he is the player that's gonna win G2 a major, which is what they're aiming for essentially.
Okay. What are you thinking here, Striker?
Yeah, I'm mainly concerned about HooXi individually, and not necessarily because of stats, but more because of some of the moves that he made. You know, a lot of the time he would just die first without there ever being any chance of a refrag or you know, any actual thought behind it. You know, he just goes up short on Mirage like in a 5v5 situation alone, and there's nobody really, like, sure, you get some information about those, but like you still have a minute in the round, and there's you know, those people can still rotate over, and there's still plenty of time for the CTs to adjust. So there was just no point behind a lot of the moves that I saw from him. That was the most concerning. That was for me, not necessarily that he didn't get the kills or whatever. Obviously that's bad, and if you get 2 kills in a map, like, that's obviously, you know, the team can't play 4v5 no matter what he said. I mean, I'm sure he agrees.
Yeah,
that's
with that. A meme forever now. For
yeah,
G2,
that's gonna stick with him for a long time. But I mean, he seems to be okay with that. But at some point, you know, like, it's gonna stack up. You know, at some point the pressure is gonna get to you, and obviously you're gonna see yourself struggle from game to game. He got a little bit better, like that last game against Vitality. I think that was more along the lines of what I would have expected. You know, he was not great. It was just like 0.85 or something. But that's kind of like the bad fragging in-game leaders. You know, when you have 4 strong fraggers around you, I think that is the level that is okay to have. You know, you don't have to be a 1.00 rating type player. You know, if you have those players around you, you just have to be not useless. You know, so that's kind of my point. Like, it's, of course, like from the stat side, it was a bad look, but it's more from the individual decision making and the way that he used himself in those like sacrificial ways. That was a little bit weird.
I think like this is what I think happened, right? Like he made that statement and then he played and then he was very disjointed, like you were saying, and then the stats were bad, and then it's like, haha, that was funny. I said this thing and now it's come true. And then the next game, right? He's thinking, fuck, I got to frag a little bit more. And then you make dumb decisions because you're thinking about you got to frag a little bit more, and then you're in your head. And then once you're in your head, it's really hard to get out of that place, right? You just have to hope that whatever you do one day is going to bring, because all you need is that breakthrough. And I think he had the breakthrough against Vitality in the final game where he had a little bit more impact, right? But in terms of some of the calling, like I didn't hate some of it, and I think when I was drawing a few of the similarities of the pieces he has to work with, I think I referenced before, like Nikodos is a crazy AWPer, right? If he can use Monacy in a similar way than the way that Nikodos was used in Copenhagen Flames, and you can draw some similarities there. One of the things that I worry about is the communication with how late they were playing certain situations. Like they were running the clock down a lot. One day it looked really good, and then the next day I watched, it was like, oh, this is a bit of a problem. So that's going to be an interesting one to see how they solve here. But the progression for this needs to be, I think, slow and steady. I don't want to see them like pop off and then drop and then pop off again. I think that if this team wants to be able to build just steady progression, qualify where you need to qualify, just get where you need to get, right? Avoid any massive heartbreak, not defusing the bomb type rounds, right? And maybe they'll be able to chug along. But in terms of being a contender for the major, it's way too early to tell with this team, right? If they're going to have what it takes, right? It's hard to tell if it's even going to be better than the last roster.
I mean, I do still think that Monacy's consistency, I think, was the big plus for G2 in general. I don't know exactly if they said something along about this since that Xtrfy's interview where he said they were going to unleash Monacy or something along those lines. What exactly that entails, apart from him having a little bit more freedom, but like from what I was looking at him, he kind of did the same thing that we would have seen from him before. So I'm not sure entirely what changed in that aspect. But I mean, the fact that he had like from match to match, he was just pretty much carrying every game. That's what we haven't really seen from Monacy. He's always had those pop-off maps, but he wasn't amazing across an entire series, or 2 in a row like against Vitality, or something like that. Like that was a massive bonus. Like if this is the Monacy that we can at least close, if sure, he doesn't have to be a fucking simple level, impact that he had during the Blast groups, but if it's close to that, down the line, let's say in a half a year, we can expect this from him a little bit more consistently like that. That's a G2 that I can see winning a major,
Well, that's the thing when you mention someone like Monacy, right? For his age, if he really is a talent, then he will go in the direction you're saying. If he's just a flash in the pan and he's a one-trick pony, then that wouldn't happen. You wouldn't see that progression, right? So I think everybody would hope for what you're saying, and everybody would fear the other. So let's hope for more of what you're saying. And from one Russian AWPer to another, let's go back to OG, because I did quickly skip over them here.
Everybody
I saw they're upset about that.
On Twitter, people do spamming me in chat. Everyone's asking about OG. They won the Dota major or whatever.
That's true. That's true with a stand-in. But this is the biggest omission for me from Pro League, is the fact that OG aren't going to be in Pro League. So that sucks a lot. They've jumped well up the rankings here. And this was a team, once I saw that Dexter joined the roster full time, I was quite excited about the prospect of this, because I got to watch Fiku in his previous roster. I got to watch Neofrag in his previous roster. I always thought Flames was fucking nuts, and Next is a bit more of a brawler in my mind. So throwing these guys together, I think you have a very explosive team. I think we got a little bit of that. They didn't do great in the best of ones, but the best of threes, they were there. But this is the team that could probably be closer with what I was just referencing, right? Are these guys going to be a bit more of a flash in the pan, because they don't get the chance to be the mainstay like a lot of these other teams by now getting 5 days of tier 1 official practice in Pro League, right? They are going to have a little bit more of a hiatus. They've just flown to Australia. That should be, I don't want to say a shoe-in event for them, but they have to be one of the very clear favorites down there to be winning that DreamHack in Melbourne, which is going to be going on this upcoming weekend, I believe. The field there, OG Imperial in Tropic. Well, actually, maybe they could turn their fate around with a win here. Pain, Vertex, Wings Up, the Party Astronauts division of EG, and Greyhound as Order. So yeah, OG are the highest ranked team by a country mile there. But yeah, look, I Was never a fan of the initial OG roster. I don't think they had the right pieces of the puzzle back when they had Issa and MBK, and they've gone through a bunch of different iterations to get to where they are now. I would say this is the roster I am the most excited about that they've had in their lineage as a Counter-Strike team. smooya, where do you place this team? Do you think they're just going to be, yeah, if they all show up and hit their shots, they can win a couple of games, get a couple upsets, or do you think they have the building blocks to be a legit mainstay in the top 10?
It's hard to say because from the beginning, like when they first formed the team, for example, Neofrag and Fiku joined. I think they're both good players, but if you think of OG, you don't think of like Fiku and Neofrag. You know what I mean? I think Fiku had this one good game against Navi, I think, at a pro league or something. He kind of got picked up because of that. I personally think there's players that they could get like much better in their positions and pay them the same. I don't think they're on crazy salaries or anything. Flames, Nexa, Dexter, like insane. Yeah. Neofrag was insane on his team, but I need to see more from him on OG. And I personally don't. I think you could just get better players than Fiku for his role. Is he good? Okay. But I think they're gonna lack firepower against like the top teams.
Okay.
In, like important matches, like big games, big LANs and stuff. Nexa, he's shown he can be in major final. He's done every final. Sadly, he lost them all in G2, but he made the final. So he can definitely IGL. Dexter's fucking insane. I think he's a top 5 AWPer.
Yeah.
Is this team just like a actual team better version benched heroes? Like they are literally the same thing, just better.
I mean,
they're just like fucking fraggers.
I mean, none of them have actually ever been benched. I think they're all like normal humans. And...
No, but I mean like the way your team plays.
No, I know.
And the OG plays. They're like it feels like almost they just want like fucking Pugstar, push smokes, do shit, like have a sick opper. Maybe, I mean, you guys don't have a sick opper. They do. That's the only difference. That's the only difference. But you know, it kind of feels like I have a very chill IGL. Like Nexa just doesn't give a fuck whatever happens. It feels like almost like a gig upgraded version of you guys, and I feel like that is maybe also going to be their issue if they go to like these tournaments consistently. I feel like they're going to be it's going to be hard for them to be consistent. Essentially, I feel like with how they play, but I think they can do like good damage overall.
They can win a few games, like you said, Chad. It's kind of like you don't expect anything from them. If you get it, it's nice. It's like I don't expect them to ever like win in a tier 1 event or something like that, or even like make the final or like that. But they're okay. They're okay.
Yeah,
I just support them because for Abdul, I literally just love Abdul. So
for Fiku, I just wanted to give like some. I think Fiku is like when he was on AGO, he was actually really good, and like this was like when they were like top 20, 30 area, and they went to Pro League, but before that also a lot online. They were kind of a relevant team. I feel like it was their best player, even maybe better than MHL for a period of time when they were together. Then MHL went to like study and stuff like that. Then Fiku was like consistently their best player. And I feel like he was in the same boat, almost like Neofrag during the same time. They were really good. But yeah, it doesn't mean that when you put them all together, they're going to continue playing to the same level. That's always a problem when you pick up like the best players from like 3 different teams.
That was what I was going to say, and especially Neofrag. I mean, from knowing him from before and the way that he played on Sinners and where he was comfortable, like this is not the team where he's going to get that space now that Dexter is in as well. Like there's just too much. Like Dexter's already too kind of like taking too much initiative in terms of
he
for everybody
the tone
else.
For the round. Doesn't
exactly.
He?
Like he is that kind of a guy who will just say, okay, I want to do this, and you guys have to play around me. And obviously, if you have a guy like that during that half of the time that you're on T side, like it's going to be a problem for your other like playmakers, to have that space to be able to do what they want. And Neofrag was one of the guys who was really good on his own, and in terms of kind of like either aggro lurking or being the guy who opens up rounds with support from behind and stuff like that. He'd really like to take duels like early on and stuff. So for him to be in this team, that's a bit of a struggle, and he's going to have to move away from that a little bit, or he has to. He had to already. Now that Dexter is in the team, so from that perspective, I'm a little bit worried in terms of whether Neofrag is going to be able to live up to the potential that he showed before.
Yeah. It's going to be a curious one. I want to ask this question, Smooya, because you said that you think Dexter's a top 5 AWPer. Now you can't include yourself in this list. Who in your opinion right now are the top 5 AWPers in order?
Let me pull up the I'll just look
Simple.
at the just hit yeah, but I like to look at the HLTV teams. For example, like Fartlig's not in any of the number 3. So I would put not in any order, but just like from my head, Simple, Zaiwu, Gyro. I like your top 3. 100% clear cut. Then it could be then Dexter, right?
What about Brokey?
Dude, there's 7 AWPers that could do what Brokey does on phase.
Okay. No, this is what I want from you. I want your honest opinion on
No,
this.
he's. I mean, he's replaceable. Like Dexter isn't replaceable. It's like if you look at the top AWPers, they're not replaceable. Some
I'm not
players,
sure Brokey's replaceable in his clutching though. Like in terms of what he does in general, yes, I think you could be right. But like in terms of clutching, like the some of the clutches that he pulls off, that's not something that like almost anybody else can do.
Yeah, I mean, he wins some good clutches, like, but he also loses a lot of clutches, and he also like makes a lot of mistakes and also overpeaks a lot. And if you had someone that didn't do that, they wouldn't need those clutch rounds because they would win way more buy rounds. Like winning a clutch is nice and stuff. I mean, I can win some cool clutches, you know. So
You won one on Dust 2 the other day. I saw that.
Yeah, but as I said, I would say those are the 4. And then like the 5 to like 9. There's no set order. They're like kind of just like the next tier of AWPer, you know. And like it sounds bad saying that someone's a tier 2 AWPer, but like if Simple's tier 1, you're not mad at being tier 2. You know what I mean? So it's like Simple, Zaiwu, Shiro. Honestly, fucking Dexter. Like if you look at the ranking, like, I mean, people are saying OC, but Dexter's way better.
No,
than
Dexter's fucking
Dexter
amazing.
is fucking like.
He just hits things like so consistently.
Brokey,
like that's the crazy part.
Brokey then Dexter, like that. That's the top 5. But like in my opinion, I think like there's some AWPers who are better or if not as good as Brokey. But and that's not me saying Brokey shit. Brokey's fucking like a top fucking 8 AWPer in the world. But the gap's like this big, you know what I mean? But there has to be a ranking. Or he's the joint 3rd best AWPer in the world with 6 other guys.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
But the top 3 is Zaiwu, Simple, Shire. Like no one could touch them, in my opinion. Like if you take them out of their teams are fucked. If you take Zaiwu out of Vitality, like back when they were winning events in 2019, with Alex and that, they would have been literally a top 20 team in the world if you put any of the like French.
Wasn't there like a period of time where everyone on the team was like
below
negative
1?
KD?
Yeah, below 1 rated, and they won Cologne. It's like, okay, that was just swinging his fucking French meat around.
They were
1.5
second. I think they were second, but still, yeah.
It's
When
just
Liquid won the Grand Slam, but
2019.
Just
close
insane.
enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, let's see what chat's saying. Oh, Saracen is very fucking good online. Fuck.
And moving on to our next topic now, we can talk about Vitality. Wait, we spoke about Vitality before, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone have any thoughts on Vitality?
Yeah, we're kind of getting late, so maybe we just skip the topic. And
Binks was looking good. To say that Binks looked good.
Last one here that Prof's jotted down for me: Danish fans sweating for Astralis and Heroic. I guess some cliff notes here. Astralis started strong and then ended not so strong. I guess the takeaway is both of them are going to have to compete in the showdown, right? To make sure that they're in the arena. Otherwise, it's just going to be Carrigan flying the Danish flag.
And what
That's
we
the
know
problem.
is only one European team, right? Through the showdown and one North American team or American.
Yeah, Graham did.
team.
Mr. Messioso Pitt did like he did just like he likes to doodle. He drew it up to split the teams because there's like qualifiers for this Blast event, right? This is how they pitch and say they have a very inclusive tournament in different areas of the world, right? Like I think there's like an Asian representative and an Oceanic representative and stuff, and I guess they'll play in the America's qualifier with the South Americans and the North Americans, and then the European one is I think they have like a Eastern European qualifier and this and that, and they have a bunch of different qualifiers like that. So yeah, and that
essentially
makes
Astralis Heroic
for one spot.
Then Vitality, then you would expect Cloud9 to be there, Ends to be there
if they bother playing.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest,
it's online. Isn't it online? Wasn't it online last time?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be.
Is it even worth it for them?
Are we talking about the showdown, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the plan for the future is definitely for them to host it in their studios, from what I understood. But I don't know about if that's going to be the case for this time, because I think they were still like they were in a different place than they were before, because they were building a new studio in the place that they held the whatever it was at some point.
Global final.
World final. Yeah, there we go. So I don't know if that's going to be ready for the showdown or if that's even the plan. I would imagine not, just because of the major being pretty close after that, right? But I mean, could be.
Hmm.
I don't know. Could be wrong. I'm not.
No
I'm
idea.
not so
I have
super
no
sure.
idea.
But it's
Yeah, but
possible that it will be online.
definitely a pain. And I saw Snappy's tweet about having to play the qualifier for the qualify. So he's not invited. Ents are not going to be invited to the showdown. They need to play like a qualifier for the showdown, essentially, which he was not happy about, essentially. Which, as where Ents have been this year, is somewhat respectable. But it is what it is, as they say. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
we can jump forward.
Nothing more. Nothing more to
let's
add
jump
there.
forward. All right, so Smooya, I don't know if you want to. Well, actually, this has got nothing to do with you. This bit here, I was going to say you could start. Yeah,
Didn't have a break, right?
Lucas
Not on the
hasn't
break.
spoken to me all night. I don't know what the fuck's going on. All right, let's have a quick
do it.
break. We'll be right back.
The Xtrfy M42 RGB, what a fun mouse with 5 colorways, lightweight frame at just 59 grams with the swappable backplate to suit your grip style, the sensor, the easy core, the smooth skates and driverless control for RGB and DPI is why you should check out the M42 RGB down below.
Buy and sell your skins now. Easy, fast and safe. The best skin site. Credit card deposits and withdrawals. Instant cash out methods. Get the best deals. Quick, simple, reliable. BitSkins.com.
Tired of watching your favorite team lose? Go to n1bet.com and win with us. Use promo code HLTV and become a winner with your favorite team. n1bet.com. Your bet, your game.
All right, we're back, and we're quickly getting into talk about the fantasy. Now, if you missed the memo on the social medias, Prof has got a bit of a pundit Counter-Strike leaderboard going on here for the fantasy. There's a couple of people signed it right now. Only 10 of us.
Super glad after the first week that I did this. It's been going amazing.
Just let's make this clear. Let's make this clear, Prof. You and I are towards the bottom of the rankings right now, and you and I probably played the most out of all the people involved. So we wanted to make sure everybody else felt like they were having a good time. And then we're going to start taking it seriously from here on out. Now, Lucas, if you want to bring it up, you can see who's involved. We got Blair at the top of the charts, Get Right, Flom, Maui, Scrawny, Moses, Maniac, myself, Dinko, and Prof. Are you opening up to more people, Prof?
Yeah, I mean, we were still... Launders was also invited, but he didn't make a team for the first one. Stana as well.
Okay.
And then we also got Banks to join in. He signed up. Like, I messaged Pimp. He didn't reply because... probably hates me, as
he's probably,
Twitch chat knows.
Probably running or streaming or signing a deal or doing something. He's always doing something.
He's getting mad at Ryan. Didn't you see that on Twitter?
Either hating Astralis or loving Astralis, one of the things.
Doing them all at the same time. But there's the leaderboard for everybody. Now, coming up this week, we obviously have ESL Pro League Group A. So we're doing this. This runs until the end of the season, right, Prof? And the winner gets $1,000.
Yes.
Which is the same amount of money I need to pay to Striker and Pimp in about 15 days.
Yep.
So let's try and win this, shall we? Now, we have teams. I've linked Lucas my team. I don't know if you linked Lucas your team, but we can quickly bring these up and
it's in TeamSpeak, actually.
Compare the pair. Lucas, bring up whichever you want, willy-nilly. We'll have a quick chat about this, and then we'll talk about the group, and then we'll get into recent news, and that'll be about it. This is my team. So I actually enlisted a little bit of help. So the gentleman that won last time round, his name is, I think it's Daniel, right?
Or, one Dane, one.
Oh, is it Dane? Okay, you're right.
Whatever.
I'm gonna be upset that I said his name incorrectly, but
I mean, his probably real name is probably Daniel.
But if you want to follow him, you can. It's at 1DANNE1 _ CSGO. And I asked him for some pointers, and then he just started handing out the pointers to all of the people involved, which I'm a little bit pissed off about because I went out of my way, and now he's handing the rest of the shit out for free. But my team here,
doesn't want to give you an unfair advantage, you know.
But the other guys, all they had to do was tweet at him. It's not fucking rocket science. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and no one's saying that. No one never said that. I went with Zawu here, right? He's gonna farm. SDY and Perfecto, they're gonna win all their games because they're in Navi. I have Dupree in the mixer here. They're actually pretty good event. Just gone, and then Chopper.
First prize, pretty good, yeah.
Chopper because I overspent on everybody else. So that's my team. Prof, who are you looking at?
Pretty good team. We can waiting for Yeah, we're pulling up. I went for a similar
Okay.
but different team.
You've gone out of
kinda,
the box here a bit, haven't you?
I kind of banked on the Spirit guys. Honestly, I have
Okay.
a good vibe. I have a good vibe about Spirit. You know, these CS teams, they come out, they do their thing, they destroy, and that's it. And I'm banking on Patsy to do that because he's been fucking insane. Also, kind of off the radar, just because you know, Cologne finished and all of these things. I'm banking on him and Wonderful. He's been okay in his first event. Like he played Cologne. Like his first event was Cologne, and he was good. So you know, can't really shit on that. Then I got Plopsky. Plopsky actually the best rated player for NIP and Blast, and
Okay,
kind
that's
of cheap.
curious.
And then I got two Navi players, Electronic and SDY. I was just looking at the prices, what I could combine. Bit was just a bit too expensive, so this is a combo that I went for, which I think is pretty good overall.
Is Bit more expensive than Electronic?
Yeah, like a couple of
Yes,
thousand.
he's like 218 or something, and I think like
Yeah, I think
Electronics like
Electronics-
211 or something, 212.
215, I think.
That's
yeah.
actually
Okay, yeah.
pretty. That's a solid price for Electronic. Feels like a steal, to be honest.
Yeah.
I learned you
So-
should use all your boosters as well, Prof.
I think it's like
That's a
now,
good
yeah,
idea,
you should
yeah.
do that. But also now, since you know the whole schedule is known in advance, it's just like a round robin. You can actually assign boosters for the whole group stage.
Yeah.
So you don't forget about them. That's like a big problem. So I did that as well. I have all of them assigned.
Just for none of tomorrow's matches.
No, I think you just
You
don't
waited.
see them actually.
Oh, okay.
No,
All right.
they're assigned. Yeah.
Well, fair enough. But if you guys at home want to partake in fantasy, now not, well, actually with us, because we're in with everybody else, you can head over to HLTV.org/fantasy and sign up. It's a bit of fun. You can make private leagues with your mates and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, check it out if you're interested in fantasy, and we'll keep tabs on our squadrons going forward. But anyway, we still have Group A to talk about here of Pro League starting tomorrow. We don't need to talk about it for long because we've already spoken about most of these teams. Now, the group consists of Navi, Vitality, NIP, Fnatic, Spirit, and Endpoint. Now, my question out the gates here, open to the floor, whoever wants to jump on this, which one of those first three names, Navi, NIP, and Vitality, would you say is the least likely to not make a top 3 slot for the playoffs of EPL?
Who are you talking to? Me?
Least likely to make
Any
it
of you.
to it?
Least likely out of the top, like, because here's the thing, right? Navi, NIP, and Vitality, most of us would say they should be, I don't want to say a lock because nothing's ever a lock in a round robin group stage, but they should be the ones who we would likely seeing in the playoffs, right? Fnatic, newer roster with a lot of firepower, exciting prospects. Spirit, I think that they also have a lot of firepower in that team, but are they ready to take on the big boys? And Endpoint, well, the pride of UK ever get it easy. So, like, is one of these teams going to be able to snatch a spot? Is one of these teams going to drop the ball? Like, how are we looking at this group? Because for me, if it's not Navi, NIP, and Vitality, it means they didn't come in day one focused. You can't be losing upset games here. It's not how these round robins work. Every time you lose an upset game, we get to the last day and it's all fucky.
I think Fnatic's gonna make it, and that's
Okay.
And that might seem crazy to people.
No, you can
Like,
make an argument. I'm with you.
I've been hearing some good stories about their practices, and like if you actually watch
There we
them,
go.
yeah, they got stonked in the first qualifier from the RMR, but I really like how they play CS, and they have some very good LAN plays. Nico is so weirdly better on LAN than he is online. It's freakish. Like, it's kind of confusing because he's okay online, but he's fucking sick on LAN. And if someone has an off day, he can take advantage of you. Yeah, I think Endpoints is for a rough 5 maps.
It's a rough group for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's gonna be rough.
Really, like that's the thing. Like you have Navi, who just I think everybody kind of expects, not necessarily to win, but just like to be top 3, obviously. And then you have 4 other teams who could probably fight for those 2 spots, but it's not Endpoint, unfortunately.
And that unless
I mean, they could look. This
No,
is
they can't.
also, but it is also kind of like a group where I wouldn't fucking put it past them to beat Fnatic in a best. To actually, it is a best of 3, but still, like I wouldn't put it past them to take one series out of one of these 4 teams or 3 teams. I wouldn't. Not Vitality.
I feel like
I'd put it past Spirit if Endpoint beat anyone, but not the rest.
Yeah, I feel like Fnatic could be in with like a real crack, right? The only question mark for me in the Fnatic roster, and it's not about firepower, it's about Mezzi in game leading, right? Because that's the whole stitch over there. And I don't know enough about Mezzi personally to know if it's something that he is going to be able to do and it will not impact his game. Because before he moved to this role and they cut half the team, he was the best player in the team.
Oh.
Like,
Okay,
What do you mean?
Yeah, okay, no, go, yeah, continue. Sorry.
Yeah,
Mezzi was fucking insane. Yeah,
and he
okay.
wasn't even getting to play like the positions which I think he
He
necessarily
was
wanted to play.
bitch role. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's all the bitch roles. Brolan had all the good roles, and then even after that, he didn't really get the good roles.
Yeah, that's
Mezzi's
what I mean.
insane, man.
That's
He's
why
so
that's
good.
why I've got a bit of a crush on Mezzi's ability, right? Because I know that he was still playing very well in positions that he was not necessarily the most comfortable with, and still doing his job and still delivering, still looking sharp. But now he has to in-game lead. So I guess, Smooya, again, we got to ask you: does Mezzi have what it takes to in-game lead a team at this level of Counter-Strike? Because Fnatic need to return to being the elite of the elite in CS. Their name is synonymous with it. So are they coming or what?
He has a bit of an easy job, right? Because the players that he has can kind of IGL themselves.
Okay.
In a sense of he doesn't have to worry about fucking Roge taking connector control and overpass because, he's probably gonna do it properly because he's top end at a major, like he knows what he's doing. He doesn't have to tell Crims how to take just do long control. He knows what he's doing.
Sure.
He kind of just has to organize the mid round, have some form of like every team in the top 10 has the same strats. They just call them. Everyone has their own favorite strat. Everyone has a main split on nuke. Everyone has a pop, go ramp, whatever shit. As long as he figures out when to call the right stuff, and that's of course why the best IGLs are the best. Karrigan's up there, all these people. Do I think he can do it? I have my fucking hopes because he's one of the top 3 hardest working teammates I've ever had. Maybe top 2. Will never get mad. Never the most normal guy ever. If you say, bro, go fix that smoke, as soon as practice finished, boom, the smoke's fist. He will never miss it again. If he applies that to his IGLing, they're in for a treat. They're in for a good treat.
Okay.
Very, very good treat.
Yeah, this is the one where the jury's a bit out, right? Because obviously they got Fasher in the team now from Ecstatic, and he was fragging hard.
He's really good as well. I don't really like him as a person. We're not friends, but I can respect his game. He's a very, very good player. Very solid
What's
player.
the beef?
He used to be shit, and I called him shit, and he did like it. And then he got good, and then I called him good, and he said, "Don't call me good now." I said, "I don't want to be your friend. I think you're good." It's that simple.
But that's probably more like the thing is that you can understand why someone gets their nose put out of joint, but I think what is more important is to have the respect of your peers for your ability in the server. We don't all have to get along. We're not all ever going to get along about the way we view things and the way we speak and everything like that. But this is the one thing with what we do and what we're a part of, right? Like I couldn't give a fuck about half the people's personality, but if they're in the server and they can headshot, right, that's the bit I respect, right? Because that's the thing I care about most is their ability in the game, and that's what should define us. So not a very interesting beef, but thank you for sharing with us.
It's not a beef. I mean, he just doesn't like me because I said that. I have no problem with him. He's the nicest guy.
Sounds like a beef, man. I'm just saying. All right.
If I see him in Malta, you know what's gonna. Dude, he's literally one of the nicest guys ever. Like you can't hate him, but he's also sick. So.
But I feel like this team has a lot of firepower, right? Which is why it seems like an exciting prospect to me. And the point you made about the fact that a lot of the guys in the team should have the head screwed on the shoulders to make the correct decisions. That's exciting as well. It's not just a bunch of individuals running around doing the Bart Simpson.
It's not
wailing his arms,
like
you
the
know?
strat roulette, at the start of every round. Like he has to like micromanage 5 people. Like Messi can still play his game. He just has to get the foundation set up so then he can play his own game and not worry about everyone else and then play. That's why at the beginning it's been a bit shaky, but I'm excited to watch them play this Pro League.
I feel like it's also maybe a bit of role and what people like to do overlap between like Roy and Fasher, and then maybe Mez and Crims, but I'm not sure. But definitely on the offensive time, I feel like both of these players are pretty like to go aggro and do their W stuff.
Crims has definitely been like starting to taper into more of like the full support for the team. It felt like, right? Like he would move from positions that we've been talking about him for 5 years, like Connector Mirage, for example, and then he's now anchoring a bomb site. And you're like, well, this is fucking weird. But it makes sense, right? You have to make space for the younger players in these type of roles and positions. So I don't know. I last time round we have Fnatic, I think we all remember what happened. That was a fucking shit show. Remember they had like 352 different stand-ins and it was academy players. Yeah, and that was vindication enough for them apparently. But this is actually a legit team, right? Like this is a legit team that they should be excited about for the future of the team. So I am excited to see them play, which means I've probably cursed them and they're probably going to go 0-5 or something like that. You know how these things work.
No fucking way.
But I guess we don't have too many other things we need to talk about with this group, right? We spoke about Vitality. We spoke briefly about Na'Vi. There's NIP are continuously perplexing, right? They're just constantly perplexing, but then they make it work when they have to. I don't know. I am more excited to see Fnatic and Spirit play than I am the 3 known quantities.
Yeah, because we just saw them like a week ago, among
Yeah.
other things. So I don't know. For me, you were talking about the like which team is most likely to not advance, and for me, it's Vitality. So
Okay.
Really?
I feel like they have
Whoa.
they have the ability to fuck up more so than an IP in a way.
Wait, hold up here. Let me just.
I
find
would-
this
And
It's
Navi is
just the
going through
noobs, man.
100%. Navi is going through 100%.
But there
I
was
would-
there was a tweet that said, Prof, things we learned from Blast Premier groups, and then it said Vitality showed good early signs. Would you say that what you're saying directly contradicts the good early signs of Vitality?
Yeah, and I hate Pimp. He's a piece of shit. So that's it.
Hey,
I-
yo, that's a real beef
Flip
right
it.
there.
And hell,
Damn.
No, but the thing is, like, they have shown signs, but they also, I feel like they can still. They have Spinks is obviously as we kind of finalized. Spinks fucking great player.
Very
he's
good
gonna make
player.
them. He's gonna make them better, especially if they have like 2v3s, 2v4s, where it's like a Zaiwu Spinks situation, and even against G2. I feel like some of them, G2 fucked up some of these man advantage situations, but like on Dust 2, Vitality was winning these rounds like 2v3, 2v4 for no reason, literally. So, and that is what a great player is going to give you. Essentially, it's going to give you moments of brilliance, and that's going to make it easier for you to win. Essentially, but do I think they're like a finalized like team? I don't think so. So that's why I feel like they could be the more likely one to go out.
okay. All right. I don't have too many like strong feelings. I don't want to say I think this is how the group's going to shake out. I don't know. I just hope that the Counter-Strike is entertaining and the people at home enjoy themselves watching. Okay. Should we jump into the recent news and shut this one down?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, Lucas, roll the bump up. All right, we're back and we don't have a lot to talk about here in the recent news. Hades joining Finest, who didn't qualify for the RMR, kind of seemed a bit surprising to me when I saw that news right there come on through. I thought, oh, Hades might be on the bench for a while, but he's already been able to find himself a new home. Now, Finest is a team with like Kriaz and Twists in it, right? That's the team that we're looking at here.
As well.
Yeah, so it's quite Swedish heavy, but the individual that was replaced, is it Anakas? How do you say his name? He's from Israel, right? And that all like it was so not on my radar, Striker. I was like, oh, this happened. Now it's obviously a big boon for the squad to have Hades, right? It should be an immediate impact here.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the one caveat I would say to that is it's a loan deal until the end of November. So it seems that Hades is, I don't know if this is him or his agent or whatever it is. Hades
Keeping
is clearly,
on the market. Okay,
clearly,
yeah.
looking out for his future and not, committing to a team that's obviously, somewhere down in the top 30-ish while he just left the top 5-ish team, like this Hades obviously deserves better than that on paper, but at the moment he didn't necessarily have anywhere else to go. So to choose a team that he can just play for while everybody else is off, playing for the major and playing at the RMRs and big events and blah blah blah. So he has somewhere to play. I feel like I actually do commend him for this. It's more that Finest might not just have that I guess certainty that he's going to stay beyond that point, but I think it's still going to be a good addition for them. He's obviously coming in with quite a lot of tier 1 experience coming from ENCE, so that's already going to be a big improvement. And in terms of like output, like Hades was actually never a bad player. He just wasn't a top 3 team, title contender type of player potentially for ENCE.
But wasn't this? I remember watching some of the finest games, and Anakas was pretty good. Like he didn't feel like he was bad to me.
Yeah, but you'll take Hades over him for sure. Like this is the kind of Counter-Strike that I know a lot about. The tier 2, tier 3s. This is my home. Actually, where I sit on the top of, statistically, I will say.
The king.
I am the king of the lower levels of the lower echelons of the Counter-Strike scene. Inside on Arcas, very good player.
Yeah.
Overpeaks a ridiculous amount.
Okay.
Can cost some important rounds for some important games, but can also win those rounds. But not want to forget about Hades in the lower echelons of CS, because he was a fucking monster.
Insane.
Okay, let's not put the word insane, okay? But he had very good numbers. Much better than he had on ENCE. He's like a 1.18, 1.15, like better than Anakas. And he comes with the experience of Fuck, how long was he in ENCE? Like 1-2 years, nearly. Or
Year and a,
When
year and a half
he-
or year and a half.
Just
I think.
remember
Oh.
where ENCE was before he joined. Like
Yeah,
he
but
joined for Alu. Like this was when Alu was on the team. Like
Oh,
he came
shit.
in as a stand-in.
Yes.
He came in. They were playing these like pineapple cups and stuff like this. He came in. They won all of the They had so many pineapples. They're doing fucking pina coladas every day. So it was insane. Like he was actually like the first couple of these cups, he was destroying. He was like
Yeah,
130 rating.
Very good rating. Like his whole time in Krakow, he was high rated. Oh, was it Krakow? Is that the team?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I have a different name for them in my head, but yeah.
I
He was
want to
very-
hear that now. What is it?
Okay, well, I saw them drinking a lot of Katowice before our game, so I just called them Whistler Pissheads. So every time I think of them, I just think of people that drink. Like I just saw them smashing vodkas before our game, so I just called them Whistler Pissheads. I didn't realize I should have said that, but yeah, that's a true story. But he's very, very good, and I think, and it's the same as any AWPer that is bad at tier 1. I'm the exact same. I had 1. Rating 1.05 in big. I go to another team 1.3. It'll be the same with Hades. He'll just shit on everyone because he's so much better than everyone and be a very big bonus for finance.
That's exactly my opinion as well. I feel like when you look at the stats, like like it looks similar. Then you look at like even if you look at it like against top 20 or whatever, like Anarchist didn't even play against top 5 teams. And when you look at his like stats against top 10, they suck. And
and top 20 as well.
For Hades, it's more balanced out. It's more or less the same, but it's also you are on a top 5 team. Therefore, everyone is looking at you, how you play, all of these things. And he also ends like I don't know if he didn't have that much space, but the way he played wasn't going to YOLO out. Like he was really reserved and.
But it's a system, right? It's a snappy system.
Yeah,
so
and it's worked for them, right? Worked for them.
Very good team.
So people that are like, oh, this is not going to be a big upgrade, that don't really, I don't agree with that.
They're
at all.
undervaluing
like,
Hades, you think?
Will be a massive upgrade.
And like Hades' biggest problem was also like the big games. Not only overall he was pretty good, but then in like maybe the playoffs and against some of the bigger teams, he would kind of disappear and have a really tough time. And now you go a step lower, unless he's like completely like lost it, which
I don't.
Or like just like struggling to get that confidence back. I feel like he's going to be amazing. And just like look at Acor, for example, now also in the qualifier, he's playing with Gamer Legion, destroying everyone. We saw him in MOUZ. It was horrible. It was horrible to watch. It just was. It's like nothing else to add.
The end,
yeah.
So there's many offers like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough, boys. No. All good. Let's get into the last piece of news here. And this one here, Yanko didn't like very much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody, look, to me, I don't really care. This sounds bad. I don't really care about MOUZ. Like this team.
Maybe you should, because
who
this
did
is
they pick up
basically
again?
MOUZ and XTV too.
But I never cared about MOUZ NXT. I never like
fucking hell. Okay.
But like what?
There's no pleasing you, man.
No, but I'm not here for like I'm here to watch the best Counter-Strike players and teams in the world play, right? To get excited about MOUZ, Dexter's there. Like I like Dexter. I just can't get excited. I know they did all right in Cologne. That was cool. Cool. They broke the curse. They went to the arena. Like that's a really good story there. But like in terms of global Counter-Strike, I don't know. I still just haven't seen it to go, yeah, these guys can go toe to toe with the big boys. Like
I mean,
I don't feel it.
Yeah, I generally agree with that. But of course, like looking at MOUZ this year, but I mean, if you look at these players, this is kind of like a OGV2 to me almost, where they just have like a lot of strong young players that maybe in a year's time, like this is going to be a really fucking strong MOUZ roster, because these are guys that are coming in from like the academy level and maybe potentially still getting used to it, and then still having a Frozen, like a more experienced figure, obviously alongside Dexter, who's still at a really high level alongside them. So I think individually this team could be pretty strong, actually. Maybe not, right off the bat. Like, again, these are young guys, and it's generally not going to be the easiest transition for all of these. But
three of them are playing together again, right? So Torzi, sorry, I'll make sure I say it correctly. JDC and now xertioN in the mix, right? So these guys all played together before. We all, like, when they had that run, they were winning all the academy events, right? People were saying this should have replaced the main team. I think that the biggest issue, right,
they basically
was just piece by piece, right? But I look at this and I go, okay, cool, they've got this together now, but they're going to be under like mega harsh critique now. Like if things don't look good early, like because Cycron's the man who's going to be put as like the poster boy for making these choices. He was the guy who got the promotion alongside of Torji, right? And if it doesn't work out early, there's going to be a lot of harsh critics of it. Whereas like I like the fact that MOUZ are taking these risks. I know I just said I didn't care, but like I don't care because it's not blowing me away. Like I'm not blown away by this. I'm not like, wow, this is a monster upgrade or anything, right? It's like, okay, well, it's another young guy. Now they have to bed him into the team slowly, make sure that he's like comfortable playing at the highest level, because a lot of people have overblown academy results, right?
Sure.
Like that's been fucking ridiculously overblown. It's like the guy's going to have to start building up again. And that's fine. I'm sure that they can be good. JDC's had his moments. Torji has been great in patches. And like I look at BMS and I go, well, I didn't love the shaky aim. And I don't, I don't know how this is going to work. But for me, it's like, I'm happy to see it unfold, right? If this works and it's all good, then great. And if it doesn't, then they're where MOUZ were anyway. Like just treading water,
Yeah.
I think they need 2 more roster changes to be real.
Is that replacing the final 2 members who are not from the academy team?
No. I mean, like I love JDC again, very good person, but you can't have him and Dexter in the same team. It makes no sense. They need way more firepower. Like if I go into an official against them, all you have to do is watch the demos of Frozen and Torzi, because like I'm not worried about JDC 40 bombing me, and I'm definitely not worried about fucking Dexter 40 bombing me. Unless I'm Australian, I'm not worried about it, because he was only good in Australia, like individually, like really, really good.
Sure.
So it's like they don't have enough firepower, and they're definitely not the 11th ranked team in the world. I don't know how they're there, but yeah.
Astralis the 3rd.
Yeah, but they're Fart League, bro. That's easy stonks right there.
Well, the MOUZ were 5th until this.
I see the -6 right there next to them. That is fucking crazy. But they do need to swap 2 players, 100%. And then they could be really, really good. Dude, Frozen is 20. That is crazy.
Yeah, right.
When you said mature or thing plays, I was like, how old is this fucker now? I click on it, he's not even 21 yet.
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, he started
shit.
playing like he rose
15,
up on the. When he rose up on the fucking when he rose up on the Czech scene, he won the biggest tournament. The first year that I ever heard of him, he was 13.
That's so great.
And he won at the end of that year. He won the biggest local event.
I remember like when the SCA implemented the ESL, the like 16+ rule, and then he was 15 at the time. He needed to like wait out the year before he could get back into playing. That was basically like the biggest reason why he didn't make a step up to like a European team until MOUZ, when he was 17, I want to say. So like because he just couldn't play in a lot of these events.
Well, the roster's obviously still a very young team, and like Vendetta's in chat. He says he thinks it's going to be a pretty big upgrade pretty quickly. So look, like I said, for me, I don't have judgment either way. Like, okay, Bemis is gone, fair enough. This xertioN's coming in. Okay, cool. Like that's where I'm at. Like I need to see. I'm not like a speculator. I don't have a fucking crystal ball. I'm just here to see the Counter-Strike and then make some judgments off of what we see and how it's trending, right? We're just looking for things to build on. We're looking for building blocks, promising signs, those kind of things. Because at the end of the day, the show we did when we first came back was the framework of the majors. And now I think like after we look at some of these events and some of the conditions around them, maybe we have to make sure that we keep that framework always when we talk about this. It's not like the old days, boys, where we would go from week-long LAN event that finished in a trophy and it had a group stage and a bracket and it had an arena, and then we'd go to the next city and we'd do it there. Counter-Strike's not like that anymore. Counter-Strike isn't like that, and there's not as many TOs running events as there used to be. We were having this discussion the other day, right? Pro League used to go for long weeks at a time before, and people would run events while Pro League was on, right? They would just, okay, well, these teams are in this group. We can't have these guys. We're just going to run an event without these teams, and we're going to run it here. We don't have that anymore. There's no TOs who are doing that, whether they don't think they can take the risk, whether the partner agreements with ESL and BLAST are too strong for teams to be doing that throughout, right? We're in a different era of Counter-Strike. And the open circuit of the majors, I feel like it just has to be our main focus here. Like it kind of just has to be, because the other stuff that's going on is ancillary. We're getting hyped about stuff that is being done in a vacuum in some of these circumstances. And that's when the Bad News Eagles and the Copenhagen Flames and these guys come through and they blow us away every time. We're going to continue to get those stories when we're in this iteration of Counter-Strike. And that's fine, just as long as we all understand that. Like, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that's how it is right now. And that's sometimes just how we have to operate in the world we operate in, right? We just have to kind of accept things for what they are, acknowledge them, and move forward with that information in the back of our mind.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean, I've seen some people claim that majors are losing importance and stuff like that. If anything, majors are more important they have ever been because of this. Like, it's just because that's the only true open events in the entire circuit, you know, like apart from maybe, I don't know, whatever, on the tier 1, tier 2, but possibly, yeah, could actually be the only, especially now because we don't have like a star ladder or whatever like that who's hosting events and just inviting people based on their results and stuff like that, and not necessarily because of partnership and stuff. So that it actually might be the only open tournament we have.
That's the thing. When world rankings influence which teams are getting invited to certain events, then that's where the closed part of the circuit affects a lot. Like the thing is, Smooya, I just quickly want, like me, Hugo, Harry, Dinko, and Rush, the observer, we signed up to play the open qualifier, right? The last one, just to fucking see what it was all about, right?
How did it go? How did it go?
We won the first match on Ancient, and then we played the second match versus a team called Shade. They were a bunch of Ukrainian, like
Did a team?
I don't know. They were like, Hugo does this like FBI kind of research thing. He's like, yeah, they've all got like 3.5k elo, you know.
Okay.
But they're like they're like, we got fucking smashed. They fucking destroyed us on Vertigo. It wasn't even a game of Counter-Strike. It was embarrassing.
They almost beat Movistar after that, so they were like at least somewhat legit, you know.
It was slightly redeeming. But the thing was, I found the system, and I know the ESEA had issues in the first one, right? There was a lot of issues. They weren't ready for. But that one, I signed up the day before. Everybody joined the link, typed in the password. They're in the team. They then greenlight everybody's accounts because we don't have ESEA Premium or whatever the fuck you need. So everyone's account gets greenlit to use the client. In the client, you get a notification. You join the server against your opponent. You do the veto in the server, and the game starts. I was like, "This is fucking great!" Like it wasn't really like that back in my day. Were they all pretty smooth besides the first one?
Yeah, I mean, even this first one, like, it happens, right? Because how can you prepare your website that is literally dead 364 days a year, and then you get this one qualifier, and you don't know how many people are going to sign up. It was fucking maxed out. People, there was not enough slots for like the first one. I think like people, if you weren't there early enough, you literally missed the spot, which is crazy. But it was really nice. The one thing I didn't like was there wasn't no knife rounds, and
that's
also,
the major rule set though. Yeah, that's the major.
Yeah, but it was like in the best of 3.
There's no knife round in major best of 3s.
Is that new or what?
No, that's been like that for a while now. So
I haven't played a major for a while.
but that's how it's decided, right? If you're the one who picks the final map in the best of 3, the other team gets to pick the side. Yeah,
So what was also annoying is, for example, we beat a team like the second round. We beat, what the fuck were they? They were number 13. We beat Tricked, and they had the number 13 seed. Okay, in my day, I'm an old man these days. I'm 23 now, chat. I'm catching
you're getting on.
I'm getting there. If you beat that team, you take their seed. That's how it should work. So then in my head, in the rest of the bracket, we should then decide, like, you know, who goes first or not. But we kept our seed when we beat the 13th seed. So like the whole day we were just like always starting T side and like not choosing map. It was a bit weird for me. But
that's an interesting thought there on that. I don't know. Like I would say just because you upset that team. Yeah, it's interesting.
You take their seat. If it's a knockout bracket and there's no lower bracket, you should take their seat 100%.
Well, I do have somewhere to direct everybody's attention. Over to a website called HLTV.org, and Nero has just released an article called The Case for Swiss System for Open Qualifiers, because guess what? That's exactly what the fucking Swiss system was designed to do, right? To sift through a large portion of teams as opposed to a single elimination bracket that is cutthroat as fucking poorly seeded, because it's literally impossible to seed that many teams. So sure, it might be a little bit more. This is the thing. If we're going to have Swiss for the open, can we change the fucking format for the major so it's not Swiss into bracket? Can we have something a little bit more interesting? Like, fuck me.
I miss groups, man. Like,
yeah, bring them back.
Like when it's like was teams of 4 or groups of 4? Yeah,
that's how majors were played until, I mean, from the start until 2017 or something.
That was the best, man. They were so good back in the day.
I mean,
especially with fucked up groups.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the weakness with that was like fucking Cologne 2016, where they had number 1, number 3, number 5, and fucking FaZe who weren't like an amazing
like,
team at the time, but
the
whatever.
Yeah.
But like they were still good, and so you had just 4.
Just don't do that. Just don't fuck the groups up. Bring the groups back.
Yeah, Bastioso, you motherfucker, because he was the one who drew them.
But modern day, right? Modern day, you'd think we would have better seeding. I would say the way that our stuff has been done, because everybody has to re-qualify, our stuff is...
Honestly, the seeding is pretty shit, actually.
Oh, it
It just gets
I mean, it's
saved
just
because of the
gets- yeah.
Swiss. It just gets saved because of Swiss.
Oh, you're right.
In this qualified chat, in the ESA one, bench series, we had 300 seed. In the one we qualified. There's a team called Enigma Galaxy, the female team. They were 49th.
I'm curious.
I mean, isn't it? But I think they only choose like the top whatever, and then everything else is random.
No, the seeding's based off if you're in the ESEA leagues.
Ah.
But if you're and I get it, it's kind of cool, but like, you know.
But how can you seed like 5 random guys playing together? How do you seed?
Yeah,
Well, I think
that's
that
really
was just
hard to
random
do.
at that point. No.
Not below 1 and 5 ESEA main team that like bought their roster slot. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, some
put
of
us
it's
in the top
interesting.
40. You know what I'm saying? But not
You
300.
But don't you compare that like, with how they did the last one, which was like they did like Face It ELO? So like if you've never really played Face It before and you just sign up,
the last one?
I think that's how they did the last one was Face It ELO. So it's like
I swear the last one was ESEA too. Or was it the seeding? Was
Antwerp
This
must
was
have been Face
BGL,
It. Yeah.
Yeah, face it.
So yeah, I don't
Really?
know. I don't know.
Are we gonna ask some viewer questions? Or are we kind of figured this out?
I didn't look for any. I won't lie. I had a bit of a busy day doing my own stunts today, so I didn't look at the viewer questions.
I think
anything
mostly,
here for Smooya?
Yeah, about like Smooya, the team, and stuff like that. So we can ask a bit about that. I think.
Okay.
I mean, the question is just about what you guys are looking for. You were tweeting about a manager. You need a manager. Yeah. You're crying for a manager. What's talk about?
What do you need a manager for?
Oh, because I'm not getting everyone's fucking passport information and booking everyone's fucking flights and shit. Because I tweeted today that I need help. Like, who do I speak to at ESL? Because we've had no
you just need an
contact with
adult.
anyone. Yeah, okay, but I'm not an adult. I'm very busy doing other adult things,
well,
i.e. entertaining children on Twitch.
What's Mihu doing? What's he up to?
Well, that guy's just... Listen, so I need a manager, but I believe we have one. Onkia says he has one. I don't know how much I trust Onkia because I don't know. I don't sure how much I trust him. But our situation, I don't even know. I've kind of just said like, if an org wants to like have their their logo and stuff for the RMR, then they can pay. It's like we're not going to ask for anything crazy, and it's just for like a one-off payment, like a month payment. You know what I mean?
You just want a sponsorship for an event. That's what you're looking for. A sponsorship for an event, right? So like you could be sponsored by anybody then, right? Like you should look for anything that the Valve will allow to have as a team name.
Yeah, and that's also like why I don't want to rush it, because like I've had many offers and it's like, yeah, they seem okay, but how much is the fucking logo worth at the RMR? Because you're gonna get us really fucking cheap compared to the next person. Because I'm not gonna sit here and say that we need 5k a month. Of course not. It's for one event. Maybe we need like 2k each for like spending money. You know what I mean? Because like everything else is covered by ESL anyway. We don't spend any money.
I mean, 3 meals a day.
But do you really But do you really care about getting paid in the first place when like a lot of the money is still going to come from the stickers? Like, you sign with somebody, they're going to ask for even 10% of the stickers. It's probably more than they're going to pay you.
Yeah, but I mean, you also have to have some fucking realisticness. So the chance of us making the sticker stage is kind of like,
I
want to cash in while we can. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough. I forgot.
Yeah,
just make a deal with whoever. If you do anything, just make sure it is just for that event. And like, don't fucking sell yourself down the river here, mate. In case a miracle does happen.
You know how many fucking bad contracts I've signed in my time, young fella? Ooh.
Mate, when I was
only signed bad contracts.
I signed my CGS contract without reading it.
Reach out to Epsilon. Maybe they want to come back to CSGO.
Dude, I'm sure they would take 200% of the sticker money. Those fuckers.
Oh dear.
But yeah, nothing crazy. Just go there, have some fun. Hopefully this manager fucking speaks English. First of all, that would be nice.
You just send in your passport information to strangers on the internet.
Yeah, I just end up fucking my passport's sold somewhere. Fuck, I don't know, but hopefully not. Just keep streaming, turn up and play.
Okay.
There is a question asked: have you already patented the victory dance from the RMR qualification win, so Fortnite can't steal it?
I mean, this kids play again. I'm definitely not gonna add that, bro. But maybe I do. You're so random. I've never done this motion apart from, of course, in other activities in my life. Ever outside of that in my entire life. I don't know why I stood up and started humping the head.
Because winning made you horny, mate. You were ready to go.
It was so weird, man. I sat down. I was like, dude, I'm fucking so great. Like this makes no sense. But yeah, I might pattern it. Yeah.
But Prof, I think there was literally an article today where the lawsuit for someone suing Fortnite for a dance
Okay.
got thrown out.
Yeah,
Oh.
well, I'll win that one.
Because yeah,
with his lawyers, his manager
he's
that he doesn't know
gonna-
can get his lawyers on it, and then we'll see
Money's
where that
changed
lands.
now. Streaming, money's changed. I'm not on that. I'm not on them.
he
small
can
boy
also
numbers anymore.
show that the dance was featured on a very relevant podcast
That's true.
by the leading CSGO coverage website, therefore even more relevant and internationally acclaimed.
I hope we get to
And-
testify for Smooya in
I would
American
love that.
court one day.
I would
we're
love
just
that.
there. We're just there.
It's
They're
like,
playing this video. Was this you on the 30th of August 2022? Well, could be. All right, we got any other
Chad in a
questions?
suit. Chad in a suit.
Fuck
And
that
yeah, my testimony will be like every time I see a thrusting motion, I think of Smooya now.
There you go.
Let's look at
The
do it.
sex
Look in the
icon
mirror.
of Counter-Strike. You and Dozier, mate. You
I
hump in
can
the air
never-
and the
no,
sex
no,
god
no,
himself.
do not disrespect
Did you
the
see
sex god, man. Like,
Dosia? Did you see Dosia's rating in the final game of the?
No.
It was
it's 69, I'm guessing.
0.69.
I didn't even know that, but just smile on your face before you said anything. It had to be that.
All right. All right, all right.
How old are you, Prof?
420. Blaze it.
There you go.
Boys, I got a delivery on the way here. I got to eat, and then I got to get up and go to work tomorrow and actually cast some Counter-Strike for the first time in like 6
That's
weeks. So I might do a bad job if I don't get some sleep soon. So, Smooth, do you want to pitch yourself? Where can people find you?
Yeah, twitch.tv/smoothcs. I'm currently leading one of the highest, fastest growing communities on Twitch, the Smooth Sloths. If you guys want to join that, feel free. Also, you guys can give some subs here, some Twitch primes in chat. Be nice. Sponsors, very important. Skinbit, first of all, owned by Zippel. Everyone knows the website. You can buy, sell skins.
Bro,
I don't think we can do that
what
here,
are
mate.
you
We have a
doing,
skin
bro?
sponsor. You can't do that. We
Okay.
gotta end the stream right now.
Okay, end it right now. Also, GG drop code Smooya. That's all I need. Oh, and Edge. That one's legit. You guys will like Edge. You can do some stuff on there, guys. But
You're
yeah,
doing
apart from that-
sponsors on here as well,
Yeah,
mate.
absolutely,
Like, I
man.
was
This
just
is two
saying
and a
where
half
they
hours of my
could,
time. Do you know
I
how much
was-
money I make in 2.5 hours these days?
I said where
Money's
they could
changed.
find you, man. We're trying to direct the traffic
You can
right
find
now.
me. You can find me on Edge. You can find me on. You can find me there.
Shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
exactly. Dude, I have. You think these lights turn themselves on these days, Chad? I don't have like, I gotta do
You have
this
a
stuff these
team.
days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
exactly. No teams.
You keep up the grind, right? And I'll keep being a lurker in your stream, and it'll all work out one day. Don't you worry about that.
Stop lurking. I'm gonna ban you from my chat, you little fuck.
The fuck is going on here? All right, Prof Striker, do you have any parting gifts that you want to send the Counter-Strike world before we turn it off for the evening?
I'm gonna do fucking round robin scenarios all month long again. So stay tuned to
Well,
that.
the depression of Striker's life has just begun. You'll see him on the spreadsheets. Prof, you don't want to help him out?
No, I'm not
I would not
intelligent enough
trust
to
him
do
to help
that.
me out with that, unfortunately.
All right. Well, I don't look at it myself. I trust the likes of you and me, Hal. All right, everybody. Let's turn it off. Thank you for watching another episode of HLTV Confirmed. Go watch Smooya's stream so he can keep the lights on. The poor guy. Make sure he gets those Greg sausage rolls and pies flying in the door. And
It's a going fatter one.
no, man.
Oh my god, I'm trying to lose weight.
I love it. Look, get a pie in you, get a sausage. Everyone loves a Greg's pie.
I'll
I'm
fucking
not
put
even
a-
British.
Nah, I'll fucking put a pie in you if you keep talking. That's
All
what I'm
right,
saying,
everyone. Good
essentially.
night.
What kind of a
Oh, wait.
Need a shot. Oh my god, guys, in chat. Everyone started spamming it already.
Yeah,
Prof.
well, we're out.
There we go. It's not visible. It's not visible.
What happened?
Yeah.
It's fucking funny.
All
I'm
right, turn
sure
it off.
this
Turn
can't see
it off. Turn it off. We're done.
Add some fun to your space with Xtrfy, designed in Sweden with focus on quality products built on experience. You're looking at Project 4, their 4th generation of products with super cool colorways to stand out, with matching sets to satisfy with a solid B4 bungee, lightweight ergonomic M4 mouse, the K4 keyboard is fantastic, all of which are performance focused, and finish it off with colorful GP4 mouse mats that are bold in design and smooth on the surface. The retro theme in particular has got the feels. Complete your setup with Xtrfy. No regrets, guaranteed.
Stuck ranking up? Lost the motivation to grind? Bored of clicking heads on aim maps? Get some color into your game. BitSkins.com. Buying and selling skins made easy. Tons of payment methods and instant cash outs. Just choose your dream skins, select your preferred payment method, and start grinding again. If you want to play like the pros, you gotta look like the pros.
Do you feel it? N1Bet comes to brighten up your world. Play anytime, anywhere. Just go to n1bet.com and get your bonus with promo code HLTV. High odds and fast payouts. Playing is a pleasure when everything is clear. n1bet.com. Your bet, your game.